Part 56. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 551. Ouch, Zhang Chen also shouted. Xiao Zhao looked at him, knowing that he was deliberately imitating her, but still asked, "What's wrong?" "Someone sold all his clothes." Zhang Chen pointed to the wall and said to Xiao Zhao, "The blue t-shirt has been sold out." Xiao Zhao thought about it. Yes, it was not agreed at the beginning that it was only for hanging and he wanted to keep it. Why did he just give the last two blue ones to those two people? "It's your fault," Xiao Zhao said. "Why are you blaming me again? You didn't remind me." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "No need to remind me, we still have this fabric, just make it again." Xiao Zhao shook her head and said, "I will sell it if I make it again. Selling is the most important thing now. It doesn't matter whether I wear it or not." "Oh, are you so enlightened?" "It's not that I have high consciousness, it's that I can't wear it now." "Just next year, won't you design more beautiful clothes?" "I don't believe that my husband will regress." "Why, you don't have confidence in yourself." Before Zhang Chen could speak, the phone on the table rang. Xiao Zhao picked it up. On the phone, a female voice asked, "Are you from the 1117 booth?" Xiao Zhao is right. "Are you the one with the big belly?" Xiao Zhao is right. "Great, who am I?" "I came to pick up goods from you, from Wuhu, do you still remember?" "Remember, hello," Xiao Zhao said quickly. Xiao Zhao thought to himself, "You are our first wholesale customer, how could we forget you?" "Hello, hello, I'm going to Hangzhou tomorrow to purchase goods. Don't those cotton and linen shirts come in 5 colors? In this case, you can leave me 242, 8 pieces of each color, 40 pieces in total. May I?" Xiao Zhao quickly said yes. "Also, my friend from Mianshan will go tomorrow, and so will she. You will leave us a total of 80 items. 80 pieces." Xiao Zhao hesitated, "We can't do 80 things." She looked at Zhang Chen and asked with her eyes, "What should I do?" Zhang Chen picked up the phone and said to the other party, "Hello, beautiful woman. Now, all our goods have been ordered, and we may not be able to save 80 pieces. Okay, you must keep those 40 pieces for us, okay? Remember, I am from Wuhu, don't give them to anyone else." "Okay, I understand." After Zhang Chen said this, the other party hung up the phone. Xiao Zhao looked at Zhang Chen, his face turned red with anxiety. "What should I do, dear? They want so much, and we can't even give it to them. Such a big business can't be done." Zhang Chen shook his head. He also felt it was a pity. For 80 pieces, this business could have cost 3,000 yuan, and it broke their record. Unfortunately, he could see it but couldn't get it. There was really no way. What makes Zhang Chen even more worried is that he is not sure whether he can make it, let alone 80 pieces, even 40 pieces. Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi worked all night yesterday, and it must be noon when they got up. They can start doing it again in the afternoon. Can they do it? It was difficult to say whether she could make 40 pieces. Zhang Chen thought of Kaidi's angry face. "What should I do? If I can't make 40 items, the guests will definitely be angry when they come." Xiao Zhao became anxious when he heard Zhang Chen say that even 40 items were dangerous. "There is a way to speed up the process," Zhang Chen said. "What can I do? Tell me quickly." "Do you remember Kaidi said that she used to be able to make more than 30 items by herself?" "Yes, Zhao Zhigang said that she has done up to 41 things. Then if we add Zhao Zhigang and the two of us can do 50 pieces, there will definitely be no problem." "Oh, they said it was in a factory, not a tailor shop." "What's the difference? Aren't we still the same two people?" "Of course," Pig Xiao Zhao scolded, "machines are different." "What about changing machines?" Wouldn't it be enough to replace the 2 household sewing machines they have now with industrial sewing machines? Are you crazy? In order to make your clothes, you need to buy 2 more sewing machines. Those sewing machines cost several thousand yuan each. They definitely won't buy it, and I guess they don't have the money to buy it. Zhang Chen said, we can buy it. We bought it and put it there for them to use. Shall we go buy a sewing machine? Xiao Zhao opened his eyes wide. Yes, let me tell you, although this sewing machine is expensive, it is put there for their use, not for them. The things are still ours. When we don't need them, we will sell them at the worst. In the meantime, at most, one machine will cost a few hundred yuan, but if these 2 sewing machines can allow 2 of them to increase their output by 20 pieces in one day, we can do it in one day. I understand, Xiao Zhao interrupted Zhang Chen, that's equivalent to making more than 300 yuan in one day. In fact, you can make back the loss in a few days, isn't that right? Yes, if it only takes half a month, maybe it's not just a loss, but I can make back both sewing machines. Okay, then go and buy it quickly. Xiao Zhao shouted excitedly. She took out the business money in the drawer, plus the business money in her bag that she had not had time to save yesterday, plus the original money in her bag, and counted it. There were more than 5,000 in total. She handed them all to Zhang Chen and asked him to buy a sewing machine quickly. Zhang Chen looked at his watch and said with a smile, why are you in a hurry? Zhao Zhigang and the others haven't gotten up yet. If I want to buy a sewing machine, I must have Zhao Zhigang accompany me. I don't understand. Xiao Zhao sighed and said, okay. Zhang Chen looked at the stall and said to Xiao Zhao, I bought a sewing machine in the afternoon, so I won't come back. I'll stay there to help. I don't know how to use the sewing machine, but I can help cut clothes, so that Zhao Zhigang can use the sewing machine. There's nothing left to sell in the store anyway. Xiao Zhao said okay, I'll be fine here. I'll pick you up at 5:30. No, Xiao Zhao said, I can just take the bus back and you can work there. It's better for me to pick you up. Same thing, you still have time to wait for the bus. Why don't I pick you up and then go buy groceries? It's faster. Haha, I understand. You still want me to be your cook, right? Do you want me to cook for you? Xiao Zhao shouted, pointing at Zhang Chen with his finger. Zhang Chen chuckled. But I am willing, as long as you can make me more clothes. Xiao Zhao giggled. Zhang Chen was sitting there. In fact, he was very anxious. When it was almost 11 o'clock, he couldn't sit still any longer. He stood up and said to Xiao Zhao, I'll go then. Yeah, let's go quickly, Xiao Zhao said. Zhang Chen hurriedly walked out. Come back, Xiao Zhao shouted. Zhang Chen came back and asked, what are you doing? That girl comes at noon, what should I tell her? Zhang Chen laughed, I don't care, you can say whatever you like. You. Xiao Zhao went to beat Zhang Chen, but Zhang Chen escaped with a smile and left. Zhang Chen rode to the house, but his heart became cold. He saw that there were no tricycles in the yard, and the landlord had not returned from selling vegetables. To buy a sewing machine, he would definitely have to ride a tricycle, and the bicycle could not be loaded back. Zhang Chen simply rode to Zhao Zhigang's tailor shop. Seeing that their door had not been opened, and knowing that they were still sleeping, Zhang Chen did not disturb them and asked them to sleep a little longer. It might be very late at night. Zhang Chen returned home, but the landlord hadn't come back yet. Zhang Chen could only park the car and go upstairs, fall on the bed, and immediately fell asleep. It was a tiring day yesterday and I got up very early today. It would be strange if I wasn't sleepy. There was the sound of the courtyard door opening downstairs, followed by the clang of a tricycle. Zhang Chen woke up immediately, jumped up from the bed, staggered, and almost fell down. Damn it! After resting for a while, My legs started to hurt again. Zhang Chen walked to the corridor and saw a tricycle parked in the yard below. The landlord walked to the courtyard gate and was about to close it. "Brother, don't close it," Zhang Chen shouted. The landlord looked up at him and Zhang Chen shouted, "Lend me the tricycle again and I'll go pull the things." Zhang Chen walked downstairs. The landlord was standing next to the tricycle and had already opened the chain lock of the tricycle. When Zhang Chen approached, he handed the chain lock to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen rode a tricycle to the door of Zhao Zhigang's tailor shop. Zhao Zhigang and the others had just gotten up. Zhang Chen told them what had happened. Both of them were very excited. Kaidi shouted, "Okay, if the sewing machine arrives, I will definitely be able to make more money, make 10. Zhang Chen asked Zhao Zhigang, "Where can I buy this industrial sewing machine?" Zhao Zhigang and Zhang Chen said that there is one on Zhongshan Middle Road. However, there is no need to buy a new one. New ones are too expensive. You can just buy second-hand ones. The difference is usually at least 3 to 400 yuan, and if it is a heavy machine, it will be more. "Where can I buy this second-hand sewing machine from a clothing factory?" Zhang Chen asked. "There are a lot of them, a little way from here, Taipingmanzhija, do you know?" Zhang Chen shook his head. Taipingmanzhi Street, approaching Kaiyudao Road, there is a department store warehouse selling second-hand sewing machines, Zhao Zhigang said. "Let's go, you come with me. I don't know what kind of machine is good." Zhao Zhigang jumped on the tricycle, and Zhang Chen rode away. Zhao Zhigang gave directions from behind. After riding for more than 10 minutes, Zhang Chen arrived at the Taipingman Straight Street that Zhao Zhigang mentioned. It's ridiculous to call this a street. They passed through Wufa village and passed through Wufa Road. Except for the first section of the road, there was a vegetable market at the intersection. Next to the vegetable market were several small restaurants with ambiguous business projects. Next to Tiou's shampoo shop is a small road with vegetable fields on one side and several open-air cesspits on the roadside. On the other side of the road, there was a fence with rusty barbed wire. Inside the fence were one-story tile-roofed houses. This was the warehouse of Hangcheng department store. They rode to the gate, which was open. Zhao Zhigang shouted to the person in the communication room, "Buy a sewing machine." So they went in. The warehouse area inside is very deep and large. A cement road extends into it, and there are rows of warehouses on both sides. There are always more than a dozen buildings, each with an area of 700 to 800 square meters. These warehouses are like a piece of land. The leaves are arranged on both sides of this passage in a regular manner, with branching roads leading into the warehouse. Near the passage, there are no doors or windows, only a huge circle made of cement on the exposed blue bricks on the wall, with a number written in the circle, which is the code of the warehouse. Zhao Zhigang and Zhang Chen said to park the car here, and we would go in and decide which one we would like to ride with again. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 552. In this warehouse, there are indeed 7 or 8 stores selling second-hand sewing machines. In each warehouse, Zhang Chen and the others looked at the door and saw piles of sewing machines, old and new, domestically produced and imported, almost anything. Brands, types of sewing machines and other sewing equipment are available. In the open space of every warehouse, there are several workers in work clothes, scrubbing and disassembling the recycled sewing machines. They are removing the broken parts from the sewing machines that are missing arms and legs and can no longer move. Replace it with good parts, and the machine can be restarted. If it is too old and broken, just put several of them together into one. For those machines that are still intact, their oil stains and stains are also cleaned to make them look better. They walked into a warehouse, and someone immediately came over and asked, "Buy a machine." When the man asked, Zhao Zhigang's face turned red and he nodded. "Medium speed car or high speed car?" the other party asked. What's the price of a medium-speed car? Zhao Zhigang asked. 600. Where's the high-speed train? Imported or domestically produced? What's the difference? The domestically produced 1001, the heavy machine 1007. Zhao Zhigang decided in his heart that the price offered by this company was acceptable and we could continue to negotiate. He leaned into Zhang Chen's ear and said, a new domestic machine costs 5,000, and an imported one costs more than 2,000. For general production, a medium-speed machine will suffice. If the material is thick, use a high-speed machine. Which one works faster? Zhang Chen asked. It must be a high-speed car. We will buy high-speed cars. Zhao Zhigang agreed, and he told the other party to show us the high-speed cars. The man took them to the middle of two rows of clean sewing machines. On one side there was a white table, but the machine was gray. On the other side, from the machine to the table, it was all white, with centimeters and inches painted on the table. Looking at the ruler, Zhao Zhigang pointed to the white row of sewing machines on the right and told Zhang Chen that this was a heavy machine imported from Japan. Then he pointed to the other side and said, this is made in China. What's the difference? Zhang Chen asked quietly. Can I try the sewing machine? Zhao Zhigang asked the man. The man said yes. He took a piece of cloth and a tube of sewing thread from another machine head to Zhao Zhigang. There were already many stitches on the cloth, and it seemed that it was specially used for testing the machine. Zhao Zhigang first found a domestic sewing machine on the left-hand side, threaded the thread, reached under the table, took out the bobbin case from the hook, and looked at the bobbin inside. The thread had been threaded, although it was black. There is white thread on the bobbin, but it has no effect when testing the machine. He looked at the machine and saw that the power was on. Then he placed the piece of cloth under the presser foot of the sewing machine, pressed the switch, and stepped on the pedal. The piece of cloth moved forward, making a rapid clicking sound. Zhao Zhigang his fingers moved quickly, and several circles were quickly made on the cloth. He pressed the reverse switch and the cloth moved backwards. When he released it, the cloth moved forward again. He placed the piece of cloth on the right-hand side again, under the presser foot of an imported Kongji brand sewing machine. He also threaded and checked the bobbin case and bobbin core, and then checked whether the power was on. After confirming, he pressed the switch and stepped on the pedal. The piece of cloth walked and made a deep and thick sound. Even a layman like Zhang Chen could hear the advantages and disadvantages of the two machines. Zhao Zhigang approached Zhang Chen and said that imported machines will not break down after several years of use. Then we want this. Zhao Zhigang nodded and asked the man, how much does this heavy machine cost? I told you, 1007. Zhao Zhigang still blushed and said to the other party, it's too expensive. Why does it have to be so expensive? The other party looked at him and asked, how much do you want to buy? 2. The other party shouted, you still bargain with me for 2 units. If someone comes to buy dozens of units, the price will be the same. Zhao Zhigang's face turned redder, but he insisted, we are buying 2 machines today. If they are used well, we will buy all the machines from you in the future. Do you know how big our factory is? Dozens of them can be placed in our factory, it only takes 1 corner. As Zhao Zhigang spoke, he bent down, looked at the tabletop and said, how come this tabletop doesn't look original to me? Zhang Chen watched from the side and almost laughed. He thought that Zhao Zhigang was really weird. He blushed when talking to people. He seemed to be a person who didn't know how to bargain, but he still had to counter-offer everything he bought. Talking nonsense when he opens his mouth is just a way of finding fault with others. However, it may also be because he blushes whenever he speaks, which gives people the illusion that he is serious about everything he says. The man got a little anxious and shouted, how could it not be original? Look at this machine head. It's almost the same as new. I'm a Hong Kong boss. The garment factory closed after less than a year. Our whole factory ate it. They are all new machines. How can this board be replaced? There is something wrong with us. Go to other companies and see if there are any such new machines. Zhao Zhigang ignored him, squatted down, and continued to check the motor installed under the table. Zhang Chen found that this motor was different from the domestic one. The domestic one was gray and this one was white. The man shouted, "Don't worry. Well, this motor must be original." After calling twice, the man called himself a little short of breath. Zhao Zhigang continued to ask, "What's the cheapest?" The man no longer complained that they bought too much and asked instead, "How much do you want?" 1005, Zhao Zhigang said. No, there's no need to negotiate the price. We can't even charge this price for such a good machine. It's okay, it can be sold, I know, Zhao Zhigang said. Do you sincerely want to buy it? Of course I'm sincere. If you sincerely want to buy it, don't offer a price of 1050. The same goes for you. If you sincerely want to sell, don't offer a price of 1,700, Zhao Zhigang said back. The other party was stunned for a moment, and then said, "Okay, I'll make it cheaper, 1,680, how about this price?" Zhao Zhigang shook his head and said no. He told Zhang Chen that the machines here were similar to those at the previous one, so we should either go to that one. Zhang Chen suppressed his laughter and said, "Okay." The other party was anxious, 1,650, okay. Oh, I'm so annoyed. Now this business can't be done well. I'll give you 1,605. 1,006, Zhao Zhigang said, 1,006, we will take him away immediately. 1,006 really doesn't make money for the boss, so many of us still have to eat. After a few more rounds, the two sides finally reached an agreement, 1,620. You, the boss, are so stingy. If we buy your machine, you will always give us a few bobbin cases, Zhao Zhigang said to the other party. The other party rolled his eyes at Zhao Zhigang and walked away. Zhang Chen thought he was angry and refused to sell. Unexpectedly, he walked to the side and brought over a plastic sewing machine drawer. The drawer inside was filled with bobbins and bobbins. He paused in front of them and said, Okay, you choose. You can pick two at most." Zhao Zhigang took one look and said, "They are all old and so stingy, 4 of them." The other party doesn't respond. Zhao Zhigang picked out 4 new-looking bobbin cases from the drawer and put 4 bobbins in them. He whispered to Zhang Chen that these were easy to break and they cost more than 10 yuan each. It's fun to listen to it. Doesn't this mean there are still 1,600 units? After picking out the bobbin case, Zhao Zhigang saw a few spring pieces on the bobbin case on the bottom of the drawer. He reached out and picked them up. The other party couldn't help it anymore and shouted, "What are you doing? Why do you still care about such a small thing?" Zhao Zhigang asked. The other party shook his head helplessly. Zhao Zhigang turned back and whispered to Zhang Chen, "The spring leaf is the most easily broken on the bobbin case." Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh. This was another advantage. No wonder the other party was so angry. Zhang Chen saw several edge-binding machines at the head of this row of machines. Zhang Chen asked Zhao Zhigang if these were faster than those used at home. Of course, Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen asked the other party, "Boss, how much does this edge-binding machine cost?" The other party pointed at Zhao Zhigang and said, "Don't pay it back, 405. Zhao Zhigang nodded, meaning the price was okay. Zhang Chen asked, "Is this imported one faster?" Before Zhao Zhigang spoke, the man said, "No one uses imported overcoat machines. I have never seen imported overcoat machines. There are 2 of them, but they are both very old." As the man spoke, he pointed at the pile of machines. Zhang Chen looked at Zhao Zhigang, who said that the boss was right, The edge binding machines were all the same. Zhang Chen said to his boss, "We want another one of this." "Did you see that, boss? We made another business right away," Zhao Zhigang shouted. The boss rolled his eyes at Zhao Zhigang, knowing what he might say next, and shouted, "I'll give you a few more string shears, okay?" Zhao Zhigang stayed to pick out the machine, while Zhang Chen went to ride the tricycle over. There was an iron threshold lowered at the gate, so he couldn't ride in, so Zhang Chen could only park his car at the door. The boss called 2 more people over and carried the machine Zhao Zhigang had picked out the door. A group of people swung it left and right. After several attempts, they finally put all 3 machines on the tricycle and tied them up with ropes. After riding outside the gate, Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang, who was running beside him, said, "I didn't expect you to be such a good bargainer." Zhao Zhigang smiled and said, "If you don't counter-offer, they will treat you like a pig and kill you." The 2 of them rode back to the tailor shop. Kaidi saw the sewing machine on the tricycle and shouted, "Great, it's still a heavy machine." Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang carried the 2 original household sewing machines and hemming machines to the room where they slept, freeing up space. These 3 machines were twice as big as before. After they were placed, they added with the 5 rolls of fabric standing there. The small tailor shop felt a little crowded, but it didn't matter, the 3 of them were still very happy. Especially Kaidi, she immediately sat down, pressed the switch of the sewing machine, stepped on the pedal, and the sewing machine started to move. Kaidi looked at it and laughed. "As promised, you will make at least 10 more items today," Zhang Chen said with a smile. Kaidi made an okay gesture with him, "Definitely, it depends on me. Thank you Tiger for your monthly ticket. Thank you for all the recommendation votes and reading. I still wish everyone good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 553. Zhang Chen returned home, returned the tricycle, went to the street again, and cooked 2 portions of fried noodles. On top of each portion, he added a poached egg and a large steak, and brought them back to Zhao Zhigang's tailor shop. Kaidi had already eaten them. He and Zhao Zhigang didn't even have lunch because they went to buy sewing machines. After the 2 of them finished eating the noodles, Zhao Zhigang and Zhang Chen said, "We just discussed it, you see, you are using the sewing machine now, and you 2 are still helping here every day, so we want to start from today. The processing fee has been reduced to RMB 12. In this way, you can also reduce some costs." Zhang Chen quickly said, No, the profit is okay now." Kaidi seemed to be very aware of the situation in the market. She interjected and said that the price will definitely be better when the clothes are first sold. The later they are sold, the lower the price will be. There is no saying that the more they sell, the higher they will be. Also, if the styles are easy to sell, and in a short time, there may be imitations on the market. "Don't be afraid, I'll just change a few more styles," Zhang Chen said. "You're not a fairy, so it doesn't mean that any style is designed to be easy to sell. For the styles that are easy to sell, seize the time to make more and make more money. In this way, you can afford to lose money when you encounter the ones that are not easy to sell." "Not bad, Kaidi, I can't tell, but you are still an expert and know the market very well," Zhang Chen shouted. "I sold clothes in the old market," Kaidi said. "Have you ever sold clothes?" "Yes, the boss of the first factory I worked in had a stall in the old market. When I first arrived in Hangzhou, there was a shortage of salespersons there, so he transferred me to work as a salesperson for more than a month. I didn't like doing business. And later returned to the factory," Kaidi said, "so I still have a little understanding of the market." Zhang Chen nodded. No wonder Kaidi knew that she should work overtime when she heard that the goods in the market were sold out yesterday. She knew they were in a hurry to wait for the goods. The three of them talked and laughed, and the matter was settled. Kaidi and Zhang Chen said, either you set up a clothing factory and we will take care of it for you. Zhang Chen thought Kaidi was joking with him, so he teased her, why, don't you want to open a tailor shop or be the boss's wife? It is certain that tailor shops will no longer be able to open anymore. Now that it is so convenient and cheap to buy clothes, how many people still know how to make clothes? Kaidi sighed and said to Zhang Chen seriously, if you have your own stall and can design by yourself, your business will definitely get better and better. It is impossible to say that these clothes will always be made in a tailor shop. Now you make them here. Of course we are happy, but the cost, I know it's too much for you and it's not cost effective. The best way is to open your own clothing factory. Only then did Zhang Chen understand that Kaidi was not joking with him, but had thought about it seriously. He looked at Zhao Zhigang, who was listening to their conversation attentively, but remained silent and blushing. Zhang Chen said, you know, they must have discussed this matter. He actually has the same idea as Kaidi. If they want to open a clothing factory, they will really work and manage it for themselves. And they were really good candidates. Zhang Chen was not only moved. Kaidi is right. She can design and have a stall. If there is another clothing factory, the model of front store and back factory will definitely be the best and the most promising, so that they can make their business bigger. Now that they and Xiao Zhao have made up their mind not to purchase goods anymore, it is their inevitable choice to follow the path of their own design and own a clothing factory. But Zhang Chen only dared to think about it. He sighed secretly. He felt that this could become a goal of theirs, but it was unlikely to become their recent action. The reason why they couldn't act was very simple, that is, money. They did not have the ability to set up a clothing factory. Money. They only have tens of thousands of yuan in savings. Xiao Zhao will have a baby in a few months, and the hospital will cost thousands of yuan. After the birth, various expenses will increase. Both of them have no other income, and no employer can reimburse medical expenses. Whether adults or children go to the hospital, they have to pay out of their own pockets. The business in the stall is still good now, and the future looks bright, but no one is 100% sure whether it will always be good, and whether there is a gap between reality and imagination. They must keep these tens of thousands of dollars, no matter what. Don't dare to move. To open a garment factory, you need to rent a factory building, buy equipment, arrange food and accommodation for the workers, and also need to purchase fabrics and maintain working capital. It adds up to a lot of money. They invested all their money, but they didn't know if it would be enough. It's not enough. If the money runs out, if something urgent happens again, there's really nothing we can do. Zhang Chen knew that if he, Brother Tan, and Meng Ping said they wanted to open a clothing factory, they would definitely support him and ask them to borrow 50,000 yuan. They would call him immediately without saying a word, but the problem is that if you ask to borrow money, they will not lend it to you, but will give it to you directly. Once you ask, you are actually asking them for money. Zhang Chen wouldn't be able to open this mouth even if he was beaten to death. The idea of opening a clothing factory is good, but the conditions are not enough. If you have thought about it, let it go. Zhang Chen secretly smiled bitterly and told himself, don't think so much, let's find a way first to get the goods needed tomorrow. Come out. Zhang Chen helped in the tailor shop all afternoon. He stood on the side and watched Zhao Zhigang arrange the pattern once, and then told Zhao Zhigang, I will do the cutting, and you should go to the sewing machine. Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi moved very quickly, and Zhang Chen had to stop for a moment to catch up with them. The cutting table was too small, and the cotton and linen fabrics were too thick. I had to use scissors to cut by hand. I could lay out at most 2 layers of fabric at a time, and could only cut out 4 shirts in one cut. Zhang Chen saw how relaxed Zhao Zhigang was when cutting. It was only after he started to do it that he realized that this job was actually not easy to do. After only 2 cuts, he felt that his thumb and index finger were sore when holding a large tailor-made scissor in his right hand. Still hot. After cutting 2 more pages, Zhang Chen felt an excruciating pain in his hand from time to time. He raised his hand and looked at it, only to find that there was a blood blister growing in the tiger's mouth of his thumb, and the skin of his index finger had also been worn away. Broken. Zhang Chen put down the scissors and told Zhao Zhigang, "I'm going to the store to buy a pack of cigarettes." He went to a small shop on the street and bought a pack of napkins and 5 band-aids. He used his nails to pop the blood blister on his thumb, squeezed out the blood with the napkin, put on the band-aids, and then put on the band-aids. I also wrapped the frayed area on my index finger with a band-aid. He stuffed the remaining 3 band-aids into his butt pocket, lit a cigarette, walked back to the door of the tailor shop, stood at the door and finished his cigarette, then walked back and picked up the scissors again. Only then did he feel better. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao stayed in the tailor shop until about 10 o'clock. Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi started to chase them away, telling them, "If you don't go to bed, how will you get up tomorrow to open the door? Go back quickly, we are here, just come." Kaidi and Xiao Zhao said, "If something happens to you with your big belly, if you are exhausted, we cannot afford it." The 2 of them were forced to go back with some reluctance. After taking a bath, the 2 of them lay on the bed and calmed down. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao talked about what Kaidi told him in the afternoon about setting up a clothing factory. Xiao Zhao shouted, "Yes, why can't we start one ourselves? Garment factory? It can be done, but it requires money," Zhang Chen said. "Does it cost a lot to run a clothing factory?" Xiao Zhao asked. Zhang Chen calculated it for her one by one. "Let's not make it big first, just a dozen sewing machines. The rent for the factory and dormitory is always 10,000 or 20,000 a year. A dozen sewing machines, plus 1 custom deduction, more than 20,000 to 30,000. What? What kind of sewing machine are you talking about? Button machine? Button maker? Do you have a machine for button maker?" Of course, the first time I went to a garment factory, I felt like an idiot. There were so many machines and they did everything, but I didn't recognize any of them. Zhang Chen went on to calculate. The hemming machine was not enough. He also needed another one. He also needed an electric scissors. This cost another 2,000. It cost a few hundred yuan to make a cutting bed. He also needed one similar to the ironing room in the market. Ironing equipment, more than 3,000, and also need to buy beds and other things. Before Zhang Chen finished speaking, Xiao Zhao sighed, "Our money has been used up." "Yes, you still need money to buy fabrics, accessories, and so on. Although there will be turnover in the market every day, you can't think so well at the beginning. The turnover is unknown, but the expenses in the factory are. The points cannot be reduced, even if there is no business at all, so many people still need to eat. My dear, don't be angry if I say something." "Well, you say. If you had accepted the 100,000 yuan that Lao Meng gave us that day, would we have the money to set up a factory?" "Yes, that must be enough. Don't you regret it now?" Zhang Chen shook his head, "I don't regret it. Even if I call him now, he will give it to me, but I can't call him." "Do you want me to call him?" Xiao Zhao also shook her head. She said, "No, I know you will always be unhappy, it is better to leave it like this. Don't think about it, turn off the lights and go to sleep. I just want to know how much Kaidi and the others have done when we wake up," Xiao Zhao shouted and turned off the lights. The next day, they were woken up by the alarm clock at 4 o'clock. The 2 of them got up quickly. They were going to Zhao Zhigang's place to help with the work. It was still dark outside. Zhang Chen rode his bicycle and took Xiao Zhao to Sanbao Street. From a distance, he heard the sound of a hemming machine and a sewing machine coming from a tailor's shop. Zizi's voice, Xiao Zhao's head rested on Zhang Chen's back, and she laughed softly. "Why are you laughing?" Zhang Chen asked. "Why do I feel so friendly when I hear the sound of this machine?" "Am I stupid?" Xiao Zhao asked. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "It sounds very cordial to me." The door of the tailor shop was closed, and Xiao Zhao knocked on the door. The sound of the sewing machine stopped, and the binding machine also stopped for a moment, and then continued. After a while, the door opened, and Kaidi saw them and shouted, "Why so early?" "I'm afraid I won't be able to nail the buttons in time," Xiao Zhao said. "How many have been done?" "In more than half an hour, we can make 62 pieces," Kaidi said with a smile. "Really? So many? Great," Xiao Zhao screamed and hugged Kaidi. "I still need to iron and nail the buttons." "I don't know if it's too late," Kaidi said. "We're just here to nail the buttons," Zhang Chen said quickly. The two people went in, sat down and started sewing buttons. Zhang Chen looked at the time while ordering, and secretly became anxious. He found that it took them 12 or 3 minutes to order a button, and in a little more than an hour, he would finish it. Before leaving, the two of them couldn't even finish buttoning 20 shirts, and they still had more than 40 shirts that hadn't been ironed yet. "If I had known this, they would have arrived at 3 o'clock, Zhang Chen thought to himself. "Thank you Brokeback Mountain for the tip. Thank you Xiaowang, Lulu 6717 P11, Book Friends 201903191846422930, Book Friends 12504 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 554. After about 20 minutes, Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi finished their work. Zhao Zhigang came over and said to Zhang Chen, "Either you can go and order the position." Zhang Chen said yes. He stood up, walked to the cutting table, and cut out what they had just made. For those clothes, the plackets and plackets were aligned, and the positions of buttonholes and buttons were drawn with paint. Zhang Chen's eyesight was very accurate. He didn't use a ruler, he just clicked on the 6 buttons of a shirt exactly. After clicking on the placket, he clicked on the cuffs, and he finished clicking quickly. While he was lighting, he looked at Kaidi and Zhao Zhigang out of the corner of his eyes, and then looked at his watch and found that they were fastening the buttons. They could order a shirt in more than 2 minutes. He didn't know how they did it. "What you did is so amazing. You have to know that a cotton and linen shirt has 8 buttons." Zhang Chen was relieved. After finishing the dots, Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang said, "Shall I lock the buttonhole?" Zhao Zhigang said yes. It turns out that Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi lock buttonholes by hand in their tailor shop. Even a fast worker like Kaidi would take 20 minutes to more than half an hour to lock the buttonholes of a shirt, which is very time-consuming. The Singer sewing machine Zhang Chen bought had a buttonhole locking function, which finally came in handy. Zhang Chen picked it up on the first day. After locking the buttonholes with it, just use scissors to cut the buttonholes open. It's fast. Very quickly, a buttonhole is made, and the sewing machine needle moves around in 8 or 9 seconds, but the stitches are a bit thin. There was no need for anyone to arrange it, and no more verbal communication was needed. Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi cooperated very well. When he saw that there were still a dozen shirts unbuttoned, he dropped what he was doing and left them to Kaidi. He stood up to cut buttonholes and iron clothes. By the time Zhang Chen finished locking the buttonholes, a pile of clothes had already been ironed. Zhang Chen took the plastic bags and packed them. The 4 people barely had time to talk. There was an invisible clock in everyone's heart, ticking, urging them to move faster and faster. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao felt themselves and their hearts pounding. It was 5:40 and they hadn't finished yet. Xiao Zhao looked at Zhang Chen and Zhang Chen shook his head slightly, meaning to tell her that he was 10 minutes late. It doesn't matter. Yes, if you don't have the goods, what's the use of going to the market? After 5:50, we finally got better, and it was already bright outside. More than 60 pieces of clothes were bundled into 2 big bundles. Xiao Zhao still wanted to go to the market with Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen said to her, "No, you go home and catch up on your sleep, and come to pick me up when you wake up." Anyway, the clothes were something that both customers had to take away, and there was nothing else going on in the store. Xiao Zhao thought about it and it made sense. Besides, Zhang Chen didn't sleep for a few hours. He woke up and went to the stall so that he could come back and sleep. "Then you can just go. It's too late. I'll walk back by myself." Zhao Zhigang helped Zhang Chen put the clothes on the school bag rack of the bicycle. Zhang Chen picked up the rubber rope in the basket and tied the clothes tightly on the bicycle. Zhang Chen got on the bicycle and left immediately. Xiao Zhao remembered something and shouted to Zhang Chen, "Hey, don't forget to leave a small number, that person will come at noon." Zhang Chen had already ridden out. When he heard Xiao Zhao's cry, he waved behind him. He must have been late. Zhang Chen pedaled hard along the way and almost bumped into others twice. He didn't care anymore. He rode to the entrance of the market, parked the car, picked up 2 bundles of clothes and ran into the market, far away. I saw that a security guard had already patrolled the door of their stall, holding a book in his hand and preparing to register. "Coming, coming," Zhang Chen shouted loudly. The security guard stopped, looked at Zhang Chen running towards him out of breath, and told him that he was already late. "Waiting for the goods, waiting for the goods, there is nothing we can do," Zhang Chen quickly explained. A Yang came over and said to the security guard, "Forget it, it's just this once." The security guard said to Zhang Chen, "Hurry up and open the door." "Right now," Zhang Chen shouted, and the security guard walked away. Zhang Chen opened the rolling shutter door, Yang helped him carry the clothes in, turned on the light, Yang carried the model out of the booth, Zhang Chen untied the 2 bundles of clothes, and the first thing he did was take them a size S size of the style that the girl wanted was stuffed into the drawer of the table. "A lot of clothes with Zhao Jie, so many clothes today?" A Yang asked, but before Zhang Chen could say anything, he heard someone shouting, "Boss, have you saved it for us?" Zhang Chen turned around and saw the 2 women from Wuhu and Mianjin pulling the cart in. Zhang Chen quickly pointed to the 2 piles of clothes and told them that they had already kept them. The 2 of them ignored Zhang Chen and separated the 2 piles of clothes by size and color. "Then you and I divided them into 2 piles one by one. After sorting, they stood up." The man from Mianjin pointed at the clothes on the wall. "T-shirt, I asked Wuhu if this model sells well. The one in Wuhu said it was easy to sell." The 2 men then divided Zhang Chen's remaining 9 T-shirts, including those on the models and on the wall, and asked Zhang Chen to take them down. They also asked for 6 pairs of pants, 3 jackets, and 3 vests each. A Yang quickly ran back to the stall and took the jacket and vest. "Can it be cheaper?" When paying the bill, the man from Wuhu asked Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen said yes, he would give you 1 yuan cheaper per piece. Before he asked a Yang said yes. The 2 women were very happy. After paying the bill, they packed their clothes and immediately went to the market next door to buy other goods. A Yang looked at Zhang Chen and laughed. He said, "How can anyone do business like this? It's so fast," as if they were robbed. Zhang Chen also laughed. When he turned around, a Yang saw Feng Zhen with a sullen face and looked at her coldly. Looking at the 2 of them, Yang blurted out, "The ghost of the time." Feng Zhen heard it, but didn't make a sound. She pretended not to know that Yang was scolding her. She had a clear mind and understood that Yang was not Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao. The old man Ge was a poisonous man and not easy to mess with. At around 10 o'clock, Xiao Zhao came. She saw that the stall was empty and knew what had happened. She asked, "Have they all been taken away?" Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Take them all away, even this place is completely empty." Zhang Chen said, pointing to the wall behind the table. "Did you keep that piece of clothing?" Zhang Chen knocked on the door of the table and cupboard with his hand and said, "Here it is." Xiao Zhao opened the account book, looked at it, and shouted, "You even got so many jeans." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, I finally realized something." "What's the point? As long as you have styles that are easy to sell in your stall, people will be bold when they get the goods. But if you didn't see it, they would just grab the same thing as a Yang said, and they would take all your stuff without any fuss." Xiao Zhao nodded and said, "Yes, if we go out to get goods, it won't be like this." So far, they have only done these two businesses, and their turnover has reached a new high. However, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao no longer feel excited. They no longer care about how much they sold today. On the contrary, they seem to be more worried. What should I do if there is nothing to sell every day? By the way, Kaidi asked me something earlier, Xiao Zhao and Zhang Chen said. "What's up?" "She asked us if we still wanted to make the clothes. If we wanted to continue, they called Zhao Zhigang's younger brother over. His younger brother's hands and feet are as fast as Kaidi's." "Great, where is his brother?" "In Hangzhou, it's said to be in a clothing factory in Dingqiao." "Then call over here." Xiao Zhao smiled and said, "You don't need to tell me, I have already asked them to come over." "When can you come?" "Today, they will call him at noon and ask him to take time off to come and help." Xiao Zhao said, taking out the bank book from his bag and giving it to Zhang Chen. "What did Zhang Chen say? Don't you want to buy another sewing machine?" "No need to withdraw it, I have enough business money for today." Xiao Zhao pointed to the empty wall, "You don't want to put in any more fabric?" Zhang Chen thought about it. "Yes, the fabric of this t-shirt is also going to be imported. Just now I was worried that I had no more clothes to sell. Now with one more person, I can sell dozens of more clothes a day, which should be enough to sell, right?" Zhang Chen couldn't help but feel relieved. "Are you reluctant to go back and want to wait for your sister with medium long hair?" Xiao Zhao looked at Zhang Chen and smiled. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment, then remembered what Xiao Zhao was talking about, and couldn't help but cursed, "What nonsense are you talking about? Then why don't you go back and take a nap first before putting in the fabric and sewing machine?" Zhang Chen agreed, shook the bank book in his hand, and said to Xiao Zhao, "I'd better go to the sister with medium long hair first and get some money from her." Zhang Chen smiled, and Xiao Zhao scolded softly, "Shameless." Yes, I'm just shameless. I'm going to see my sister with medium long hair," Zhang Chen said and walked out. Xiao Zhao looked at his back, made a face, and ate alone. Smiling. Zhang Chen returned home and left the door open so that he could hear the landlord when he came back. Then he turned on the electric fan and blew it whirringly. He fell on the bed and fell asleep soon. When he woke up, he looked at his watch and saw that it was already past 12 o'clock. He strained his ears and listened, but there was no movement at all. What happened to the landlord today? He hasn't come back yet? Zhang Chen lay there, staring at the ceiling above his head for a while, feeling anxious. Then he got up and walked to the corridor outside to take a look. He was surprised when he saw a tricycle parked below. It turned out that the landlord had come back early. "I didn't hear it because I was asleep." Ruined. Zhang Chen heard the silence below. He was worried that the landlord had gone out again. No one was at home. The tricycle was still locked with a chain. Where could he find someone to get the key? Zhang Chen hurried downstairs. When he got downstairs, he breathed a sigh of relief. He saw that the landlord was still sitting in the cool place in front of the hall, pouring himself a drink. Seeing Zhang Chen, the landlord shouted, Do you want to drink old wine? Although Zhang Chen hadn't eaten yet, he still told him that he had already eaten. Want to use a car? The landlord asked. Zhang Chen nodded and said, sorry, I have to use your car every day. Use it well. It's not like a woman's car. It won't wear out, as the landlord said. He threw the key of the tricycle over and Zhang Chen caught it in the air. Zhang Chen joked with the landlord, brother, are you so powerful that you can use women to your advantage? Xiao Zhao has been used too much by you, isn't he? The landlord said, drawing an arc in the air with his hand, which meant that his belly was full. Zhang Chen laughed, and the two men broke up amidst such dirty jokes. Zhang Chen rode a tricycle to the tailor shop. Zhao Zhigang was the only one in the tailor shop, looking sleepy. Zhang Chen asked, where is Kaidi? Got to call my brother. Zhang Chen asked curiously, call your brother? It's not you who wants to go, but Kaidi. Zhao Zhigang blushed and said, she is a better liar than I am. My brother's supervisor, who used to be with Kaidi, will definitely lie to her that someone in the family is seriously ill, otherwise he will not be able to ask for leave. Zhang Chen wants to scold you, you still can't humming lie. Instead of saying anything, he asked, what's your brother's name? Zhao Hailong. From Changshan. Zhao Zhigang glanced at Zhang Chen, I am from Zhongshan, how can my brother be from Changshan? Isn't it Changshan? Zhao Zilong, Zhang Chen said with a smile. Zhao Zhigang understood that Zhang Chen was talking about the characters of the three kingdoms. He also smiled and said, my brother is a comrade's aspirant, not Zhao Zilong's son. By the way, what are you going to do today? T-shirt fabric, and buy a sewing machine. Kaidi walked over from a distance and nodded when she saw them. Zhao Zhigang jumped on the tricycle and said to Zhang Chen, let's go. Thank you to Smiling and Running Y and Uncle Wang Pacino for the reward. Thank you for a safe journey and you 205155936 for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the reading and votes. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 555. Xiao Zhao looked at the empty walls on both sides of the stall and sighed. Even the model at the door was naked. It was so ugly that Xiao Zhao had no choice but to take a summer dress and put it on. A Yang came over and saw it, and said to Xiao Zhao, you have no clothes here, and I am not even qualified to be a porter. My stall, wherever the stall is just a warehouse. Xiao Zhao couldn't help but laugh after hearing this. The phone on the table rang and Xiao Zhao answered it. On the phone, a man said hi and asked, are you booth number 1117? Xiao Zhao said yes. Where's that man? He's the designer. Oh, are you his wife? It's that one. Is it the big belly? Xiao Zhao knew what the other party wanted to say, but couldn't say it. Big belly has almost become Xiao Zhao's code name. Wherever she goes, people call her Big Belly. Even the security guards in the market and the boss of the ironing room call her. Big belly, what's wrong with a big belly? Doesn't everyone come out of a big belly? Xiao Zhao said to the other party, yes, I am the one with the big belly. The other party laughed loudly, hello, I'm from Nanjing. My friend and I went to your place to purchase goods together. Xiao Zhao smiled and said, hello, I remember you, what can I do for you? The cotton and linen shirt, are you still available today? No more, all the ones that came today are sold out. Xiao Zhao felt that when he said this, he felt really happy. What about the t-shirt? No more. It's a good deal, it's so easy to sell. Xiao Zhao smiled slightly, said nothing, and felt a little proud. The other party continued to ask, will there be one tomorrow? Xiao Zhao nodded and said, I'll have it tomorrow. Okay, please remember it for me. There are 5 colors of plaid shirts. I want one S size, 2 M sizes, and 2 L sizes for each color. There are 25 pieces in total. That t-shirt, there are 2 styles and 3 colors, right? Xiao Zhao is right. 2 blue pieces of each style and 1 other piece, a total of 8 pieces. Also, do you remember the jeans we got? Xiao Zhao said he remembered. 1 pair each of 26, 27, 28, and 29. There are 3 sizes of denim jackets, 1 in each size. Boss lady, have you remembered it well? Xiao Zhao said that I have memorized it. Do you want to report it to you again? The other party said yes. Xiao Zhao reported it once, and the other party said yes, this is what I want. My name is Fang Xianghong, the direction of the steering wheel, Hong Hong, have you written it down? Next is my friends. Say Xiao Zhao said to the other party. She wants the same shirts and t-shirts as me. Jeans, she wants 3 pairs of 25, 27, and 28. She wants 2 pairs of denim jackets. She doesn't want small sizes. You have to sign up again. Xiao Zhao reported it once, and the other party continued. Her surname is Qin, Qin Shiwang's Qin, her name is, forget it, you can just write the character Qin. In this way, you can put the goods we want in separate black bags, and put a note on the outside. Add your name and tie the 2 bags together with tape. By the way, if you have a woven bag to pack, just pack it for us and just write my name on the outside. We won't be here tomorrow. Please help me take it to the Changqing parking lot and find our car in Nanjing. Boss lady, please write down the car number. Xiao Zhao remembered the car number and reported it to the other party. The other party said, yes, this car leaves at 12:40. You can just help me deliver it before then. Give the sales receipt to the driver. The driver I will give you the money, remember. Xiao Zhao said yes, I will remember it. Thank you, thank you. The other party said, thank you boss lady, don't forget that the bus leaves at 12:40, goodbye. After hanging up the phone, Xiao Zhao called a Yang, and a Yang ran over. Xiao Zhao told him the 5 pieces of clothes he needed, and a Yang hurried back and got them. Near the foot of the front wall, there were 2 layers of cardboard boxes. The pants they wanted were in the cardboard box below. Xiao Zhao directed a Yang to help her find them, and then took 2 large black vest bags and packed them separately. Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang first went to Taiping Menzi Street to buy sewing machines, and on the way back, they went to the Sijiking fabric market. There was a sewing machine installed in the car, so Zhang Chen asked Zhao Zhigang to wait at the door. He went in by himself, walked to the booth of the Taiwanese boss Cai Jingxiang, and told boss Cai that I wanted those 3 rolls of lycra fabric. Boss Cai did some calculations on the calculator and told Zhang Chen that because this fabric is elastic, it cannot be measured once the whole roll is opened. Let's calculate it in kilograms, 85 yuan per kilogram. Calculated this way, it will be spread out to every meter. About 34 yuan, what do you think? Zhang Chen said yes, I will do as you say. The 2 people carried the rolls of fabrics to the scale, and when they passed the scale, Zhang Chen was happy that the blue color, their best seller, actually had the largest quantity. Zhang Chen cut 5 other fabrics at Boss Cai's stall. Boss Cai said, if anyone wants these fabrics, I will take them from you first. If you are sure you don't want them, I will promise them to others. Do you like it? Zhang Chen quickly said thank you. Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang returned to the tailor shop. The shop was crowded with another sewing machine. The 2 of them stuffed 2 rolls of cotton and linen fabrics under the cutting table, and put the other 3 rolls and the new ones that came in today. 3 rolls of lycra fabric were moved into the room where Zhao Zhigang and his friends lived. The space freed up by the cotton and linen fabric was just the location of a sewing machine. In this way, it will be a little more troublesome when cutting, and the fabric needs to be moved in and out. However, aren't they going to have another young man coming soon, who can help move it? After setting up the machine, Zhang Chen parked the tricycle at the door and walked to a noodle shop not far away to eat noodles. He hadn't eaten lunch yet. When Zhang Chen came back from eating noodles, he saw an extra person in the tailor shop. Zhao Zhigang said that this was his brother Zhao Zhilong. Zhao Zhilong and Zhao Zhigang looked nothing alike. They were dark and thin, with thin lips that were always pursed. They were commonly known as flat-mouthed, and they were not very talkative. Zhao Zhigang told him that this was Boss Zhang, and the corners of Zhao Zhilong's mouth twitched. A moment is considered a smile, and a smile is considered a greeting. Looking like this, Zhang Chen couldn't tell that he would be a ruthless character. But when he sat down in front of the sewing machine, he seemed to be a different person in an instant. The expression on his face became vivid, and he was even humming a song. Zhang Chen stood next to him and watched for a while, then he realized that he was wrong. What Kaidi said was true. This guy moved really fast. Not only did he move fast, he also seemed to have his own way of working. He was alone. An assembly line is formed. He will recombine all the processes. When he is in front of the sewing machine, such as seaming, he will close all the places that need to be closed. After completing one process, he will smoothly transition to the next process. He will rarely go back and forth to do useless work. When it was time to overlay, he would sit down in front of the overlay machine for a long time. He would finish all the work that needed to be overlaid at once, and then stand up. In this way, he would save a lot of unnecessary back and forth. Moving around increases efficiency a lot. Zhang Chen found it pleasing to watch this guy working. As soon as he sat in front of the machine, his dark and thin body seemed to have entered his home court. His whole body was shining brightly, giving people a cool feeling. Zhang Chen walked out of the tailor shop and rode his tricycle home. He planned to return the tricycle first and then come over here in case the landlord needed it. As soon as he rode to the yard below, the BB camera in Zhang Chen's waist rang. He looked at it and saw that it was the number in the booth, and it was Xiao Zhao who was knocking him. Zhang Chen rode his bicycle back to Sanbeo Street and found a public phone to call. Xiao Zhao told him about the Nanjing customer's order and said to him, "What should I do, dear? I counted, there are 66 shirts and t-shirts in total, and there are none in the store. I have put summer clothes on the model, there are so many, Kaidi and the others can't make them. Do you have to come out?" "No problem, Changshan Zhao Zilong is here," Zhang Chen said with a smile. "There must be no problem. After shipping the goods to Nanjing, there should be some left over." "Really?" Xiao Zhao was doubtful. "Who did you just say was coming?" "Changshan Zhao Zilong, Zhao Zhigang's younger brother. I just watched him work. This guy is only faster than Kaidi, not slower than Kaidi." "Really? That's great," Xiao Zhao exclaimed, letting out a long sigh of relief. Zhang Chen returned to the tailor shop. Zhao Zhigang was tailoring clothes. Zhang Chen told him what he needed most urgently tomorrow. Zhao Zhigang wrote it down in a book hung on the wall with a rope. Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang said, "Should I do the cutting?" Zhao Zhigang shook his head and said, "I'll cut it for a while, you won't be able to pick it up." Yes, with only two people working together, Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi, he could no longer keep up with the cuts. Now that there was another Zhao Zhilong, how could he possibly be able to supply them? Damn it, why did tailoring become a new problem after more and more people sewed? Zhao Zhigang seemed to know what he was thinking. He also sighed and said, "There is no way, the place is too small. If it is bigger, make one with a cutting bed of several meters and electric shears, you can cut dozens or hundreds of pieces in one edition." Listening to Zhao Zhigang's emotion, Zhang Chen thought to himself, "This is why we need a clothing factory." Zhang Chen also thought of a headache. They were rushing goods like this every day, and even he and Xiao Zhao used it. The most troublesome thing now was that he didn't have time to design new styles, and Zhao Zhigang didn't have time to make boards or make them. The sample clothes are ready, and even the pieces of fabric he bought from the Dongxin Road fabric market are still in the plastic bag at the corner of the cutting table without opening them. This is really not a good thing. Any style will be sold out and lose its freshness. Every clothing store will also be saturated. It is impossible to say that one style can be sold for one season. For customers, it is best that every time they come to you, you will have new models, so that they can become your loyal customers. Every time they come to Hangzhou to purchase goods, the first thing they will think of is to come to you first. While taking old models, he will also take away new ones. Just like what Zhang Chen saw in the old market before, you will have more and more customers and your turnover will continue to expand. One style after another, only then can the new and the old be seamlessly integrated. Otherwise, you will always have no new products, and old customers will be disappointed and leave after a few visits, and finally say goodbye to you. This is not only true for wholesale customers, but also for retail customers. Didn't all the customers that I had worked hard to accumulate in the past few months be driven away by the cartons in that stall? Zhang Chen felt that this was a hidden worry. If he did not solve this hidden worry, he would not be able to get far. But now, with customers chasing the goods every day, how could they spare the time and energy to resolve this hidden worry? To solve this problem, the best way is to have a factory. In the factory, there are cutters for cutting, sample workers for sample clothes, sewing workers for sewing, ironing, and buttonhole packaging. Tao, just like what he saw in the factory in Shangxian County. Only in this way can he have time to design, and only Zhao Zhigang can have time to make plans. Now, both he and Zhao Zhigang are doing almost everything but have no time to design and make boards. A few days ago, Zhang Chen thought that the need for a clothing factory was a distant ideal. Unexpectedly, it has now become his immediate concern, forcing him to face it. It's a pity that he doesn't have the ability to face it. Thank you Qingfeng Quagong for your monthly ticket. Thank you Tin Soldier, ranked third from top to bottom, reading books every day, and 131 on the shore for your continued rewards. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 556. At around 10 o'clock in the evening, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were driven back by Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi. The two of them saw that there were more than 40 pieces of clothes that had been made and piled there, so they wanted to order buttons. Kaidi told them that they would order them tomorrow, there was still time, and everyone would order them together after they were done. Soon, Xiao Zhao, you go back and rest quickly, or I'll stop working too. The two of them had no choice but to go home, wipe themselves and lay on the bed. Although they were very tired, they were not sleepy for the moment and felt a little excited. This Zhao's Hailong is here, and it is indeed different. The two of them calculated that they have completed more than 40 items now. At this rate, there should be no problem in completing 80 or 90 items by tomorrow morning. In this way, after the Nanjing ones were distributed, there were still some that could be sold in the remaining stores. Those two ugly walls finally had something to hang. How could they not be happy? While chatting, Zhang Chen talked about the clothing factory again. When he talked about the clothing factory, he still got stuck on the issue of money. Xiao Zhao said, "My dear, I still have 2 months to go before my baby is born. How about we spend all the money and build a clothing factory first? As long as the output increases, won't the turnover increase? Maybe you'll have money by then, so what are you afraid of?" Zhang Chen shook his head and said, "As the production volume increases, the working capital must keep up. The factory produces hundreds of pieces of clothes every day. Don't you want to import so many fabrics and accessories? I'm afraid that all the daily business money is not enough to buy fabrics. Where will there be any surplus? Look at our business now. Is it better than before? But if you calculate our money, how much is it? More or less? Xiao Zhao was stunned and shouted, "It's really missing, dear, why is this? Aren't we making money every day? How could this happen? There is no shortage of money. It's money that has turned into other things, into machines, into fabrics. We didn't have these things before. They were created by daily profits and less money from the bank. The more people there are, the more machines and fabrics are needed, so the demand for working capital will be greater. Do you know what stage we are at now?" "What stage?" Xiao Zhao asked. "In the primitive accumulation stage, it is difficult for us to accumulate more cash. Only when we accumulate to a certain level will we feel that our money is getting more and more. At that time, our daily income will be far away above daily expenses." Xiao Zhao nodded, feeling that what Zhang Chen said made sense and that it was really the case. Zhang Chen continued, "Also, in our market, if we produce hundreds of pieces a day, it is still a question whether we can sell them out immediately. If we cannot sell them out at once, all the money will be tied up in the goods, and I am worried. When the money is gone, another child is about to be born, and the factory's liquidity cannot keep up. It will be chaos everywhere in the hospital, stalls, and factories, and that will be terrible." Okay, it's so complicated. It gives me a headache just listening to it." Xiao Zhao snuggled into Zhang Chen's arms. After speaking, she suddenly laughed. Zhang Chen asked curiously, "Why are you laughing?" "Dear, are we too upside down?" Xiao Zhao asked with a smile. "What's upside down? Men are not the ones who are brave, and women are the ones who are timid. How can we?" Zhang Chen understood what Xiao Zhao was going to say, and he smiled and said, "I'm not timid, I'm rational. Don't flatter yourself, you are just a coward. No, I have managed a company. I know that a company's actual expenses are much higher than you think. People who have never managed a company don't know. They only calculate big accounts. But in fact, a company only has big accounts. Too many small accounts will drag you down. It doesn't matter who looks at a piece of paper in the company, just throw it away, but you don't know that it also requires money to buy." As Zhang Chen said this, both of them fell silent, thinking of that distant city and that life that was far away from them. "Tell me, dear, what are Zhuangzi, Lao Meng Qianfang and the others doing now?" Xiao Zhao asked after a while. Zhang Chen thought for a while and said, "They are very busy every day and have a lot of things to do, but in fact, they are not as many as us. I think Meng Ping and Qianfang must be in KTV now, but I don't know which one." Pole. Zhang Chen was thinking in his mind that Lu Ligan, that bastard, must be either with Zheng Wei or Wen Qian. "What is brother Zanzi doing?" Xiao Zhao asked. "He's at home." Zhang Chen smiled and said, but he didn't know whether it was at Wen and Qin's home or Zheng Wei's home. Lu Ligan didn't have a home. In his life, there was only a woman's home. This is humming simple. The two people talked, their voices became softer and softer, and they fell asleep after a while. At 4 o'clock, the alarm clock woke them up. The two of them went downstairs. Zhang Chen rode his bicycle and took Xiao Zhao to Sanbeo Street. Once on the street, Zhang Chen felt something was wrong. "Xiao Zhao," gently he said and asked, "Why is there no sound at all today?" Zhang Chen was shocked. Yes, no wonder he felt something was wrong. When they got here, they should be able to hear the clicking machine sounds coming from Zhao Zhigang's tailor shop. Today is 3 personally, it should be louder than yesterday. Zhang Chen couldn't help but move faster. They arrived at the door of the tailor shop and saw that the door was closed and the light inside was still on. Zhang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. The two people got out of the car and knocked on the door. The door opened. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao saw Zhao's Hailong standing in the door with a piece of clothing in his hand. He was ordering buttons. The two people went in and saw a pile of clothes on the cutting table that had been pressed and wrapped. Zhao's Higang and Kaidi were not there. There were also a lot of cut pieces and semi-finished products piled on the tabletops of the 3 sewing machines and in the plastic baskets beside them. What's going on? Zhang Chen was about to ask when Zhao's Higang came out of the inner room and heard their movements. As soon as he got up from the bed and walked out to see them, Zhao's Higang smiled bitterly and shook his head and said to them, "Last night, as soon as you left, the neighbors on both sides came over and scolded us, saying that we were too noisy and prevented them from sleeping. We were not allowed to do it anymore. There was no other way. I could only let my brother finish the work first. Good clothes, buttoned, ironed and wrapped, you can take some with you in the morning." Zhao's Higang said, pointing to the pile of clothes on the cutting table. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao looked at them and saw that they were the ones that had been finished when they left last night. Xiao Zhao became anxious and shouted, "What should we do? These shipments are not enough." Zhao's Higang was also helpless. He could only shake his head. Zhang Chen asked, "What time can you start doing it?" Zhao's Higang thought for a while and said, "There are vegetable farmers on both sides, and they get up very early in the morning. I think if we start working like this at 6 or 7, they will not have any objection." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, there is no other way but this. The goods at noon must be sent out, or you can work hard and drive these goods out first this morning." "Is this what's in the notebook?" Zhao's Higang asked. Zhang Chen said, "Yes, these will be distributed at noon." Zhao's Higang said yes. Zhang Chen looked at Zhao's Hailong and knew that he was sleeping on the cutting bed. Zhang Chen said to Zhao's Hailong, "Xiaolong, you don't want to do it anymore. You need to sleep for a while. I'll take him away now if he's already well. If it's not enough, I'll leave at 10 o'clock, come again." Zhao's Higang said yes. He tied what had been made on the cutting table into 2 bundles, held them in his hands, and followed Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao out. Zhang Chen tied 2 bundles of clothes to the back seat of his bicycle, pushed the bicycle, and the two of them walked home. They were both very depressed. Xiao Zhao said, "I really want to scream a few times to wake up these neighbors." After saying that, she immediately said, "But yes, we can hear the sound here from so far away. How can these neighbors sleep? They had endured it all night last night, and today they must be unbearable." Zhang Chen nodded silently. What he thought of was that if they couldn't work overtime at night, Zhao's Higang's efficiency would definitely drop a lot. The time during the day was too fragmented, and the most efficient work was at night. Zhang Chen himself used to do this when he was painting scenes in a theater troupe. "If the work is very busy, I will paint and paint until night. I would rather sleep with it during the day." They walked back home, and the courtyard door was open. The landlady and their son had already gotten up and were about to ride a tricycle out. The landlady went to the vegetable field to collect vegetables at around 3 o'clock every morning. They were going to the vegetable field now. They had to help bundle and load the car, and then the landlord rode a tricycle to Sanliting. The two of them went home, took a nap, and got up to go to work and go to school. Seeing them, the landlady was surprised and asked, "Why are you so early?" Xiao Zhao told her that he was going to the tailor shop to pick up clothes. "In the tailor shop on the street, what they are making are your clothes at night?" The landlady asked. It seems that in just one night, Zhao's Higang and the others have become famous, and they may have aroused public outrage. Many people were struck by Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao, who sounded very friendly, da-da-da-da and zizitzi, the sound wakes me from my dream. Zhang Chen felt that maybe Zhao's Higang and the others wouldn't be able to stay here any longer. They were all vegetable farmers here, and there were many people like the landlord who needed a good night's sleep after drinking wine at noon. It will also disturb a lot of people. The two went to bed and slept for a while. When they woke up at 5:30, Xiao Zhao and Zhang Chen said, "Either I go with you or you have to come back to Kaidi and the others to help." "I will go and guard the store." Zhang Chen said, "No, you have nothing to do now. You can't sell any of these clothes if you take them with you. Zhao Zhigang and the others don't know how much they can make after waiting for a few hours. You should sleep well and go to the store when you wake up. After I take the roll, check if everything is okay and ask Ayang to help look after it. I won't go home either. I will go directly to Zhao Zhigang's place to wait for the goods. You can get up and take the bus directly. Let's go to the store." Xiao Zhao said yes. While the two were talking, Zhang Chen was still drawing a Zhang Chen watch on Xiao Zhao's hand. Xiao Zhao looked at Zhang Chen and couldn't help but stretched out her hand and touched his face. She felt that in just a few days, Zhang Chen had become darker and thinner. Could it be that he was not black or thin? He rode a tricycle every day and was exposed to the sun after so much sunshine. "I still haven't had a good night's sleep." Xiao Zhao felt distressed. When Zhang Chen finished the painting, she couldn't help but sit up and hugged him. Zhang Chen felt his cheeks were wet with Xiao Zhao's tears. He was startled, broke away from Xiao Zhao, pulled her face and asked, "What's wrong with you?" Xiao Zhao burst into laughter and kept shaking his head. No, I just think you are working too hard." Zhang Chen laughed and said, "What are you afraid of?" He flicked Xiao Zhao's belly with his fingers. "As long as this little guy, Zhang Xiangbei, will be obedient from now on." "Well, if he doesn't obey, I'll beat him for you," Xiao Zhao said. "You talk but you don't mean it, and you won't be able to let it go when the time comes," Zhang Chen said with a smile. No, I promise not. Compared with this guy, I can't let go of my husband even more," Xiao Zhao said quickly. Zhang Chen kissed her and told her, "If your husband doesn't leave, he will be late. You should sleep well." Xiao Zhao lay down and waved to Zhang Chen, "Goodbye, dear." She watched his back disappear behind the closed door, then walked outside the curtain, and then heard the sound of a bicycle driving, and the sound of the courtyard door opening and closing. Xiao Zhao said to herself, "Yes, this husband, she just couldn't bear it." Thank you 18266672555 for your monthly vote. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 557. When Zhang Chen arrived at Zhao Zhigang's tailor shop at around 9 o'clock, he saw that the three of them were all unhappy. Looking at the work they had done, there wasn't much work. Zhao Zhigang couldn't bear it anymore and told Zhang Chen that there was nothing he could do, so he started doing it after 8 o'clock. As soon as Zhao Zhigang said that, Kaidi started to complain and scolded these people. At around 7 o'clock, as soon as we turned on the machine, they came over and scolded them again, saying that there were still people sleeping in their house. "If you have people sleeping all day, why can't you work for a whole day?" "Actually, we didn't have a conflict with the landlord and took it out on us," Kaidi said angrily. "Isn't it because we are outsiders and easy to bully?" Zhang Chen asked, "Then your landlord didn't complain even after seeing it?" It was okay not to mention the landlord, but when she mentioned the landlord, Kaidi became even more angry. She said, "The landlord is even more ridiculous. What do you think he said? He told us, why don't we use the original sewing machine? The original sewing machine does not have such a loud voice, when we have no business, there is even less sound. If we have no business, you will not collect the rent? Why don't you still charge it? When you rented the house to us, you didn't say you were not allowed to use industrial sewing machines. Now let's talk about this." There are many tailor shops and curtain shops in and around Hangzhou that use industrial sewing machines. They are not allowed to be used. If so, who wants to rent your house? Kaidi cursed, but did not stop her hands. Zhang Chen listened to the side and felt like his head was getting big. It seems that my previous judgment was correct. Zhao Zhigang and the others may not be here for a long time. What if they don't stay here for a long time? When they leave, who will make their own clothes? There is another tailor shop on this street, but if you look for them, what happens here next will happen again. More importantly, I feel that Zhao Zhigang, Kaidi and the others are cooperating very well. If we change people, I really don't know what will happen. He doesn't have the ability to run a clothing factory now, but Zhao Zhigang and the others must find a way to save it. If they can't save it, then his entire plan will be ruined. Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi were chasing cotton and linen shirts, while Zhao Zhilong alone was chasing lycra t-shirts. He made 2 styles and 1 color at the same time, so he didn't have to change threads. This guy's movements are really fast. He didn't even start last night. He started at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's only been more than an hour now. He has already made 8 blue ones, and is now making 8 yellow ones. Zhang Chen walked over and replaced Zhao Zhigang. He went to cut a red t-shirt and asked Zhao Zhigang to return to the sewing machine. Next, the 4 of them almost didn't talk anymore. Everyone was busy working. It was almost 11 o'clock. Zhao Zhilong's t-shirts were all finished. He helped to collect the shirts. Zhang Chen quickly packed the t-shirts one by one. After getting up, together with the goods from Nanjing that he took to the store in the morning, most of them were finally found. Zhang Chen secretly breathed a sigh of relief. The 3 of them had a small flow, and the shirts were already coming out one by one. Zhang Chen pointed out the positions and keyholes one by one. Zhao Zhigang asked Zhang Chen, "What time do you want to leave?" Zhang Chen said he must leave at 10:40, otherwise he would not be able to catch the bus. Zhao Zhigang and his brother said something in Zhongshan dialect. Zhao Zhilong turned off the sewing machine, sat at the edge of the cutting table, picked up Zhang Chen's buttoned shirt, cut the buttonholes, and ordered the buttons. "You are too awesome." Zhang Chen saw Zhao Zhilong folding the buttonhole on the placket, picked up the scissors, and clicked the scissors. Without looking at the cut, he started to cut another one without even repairing it. Zhang Chen didn't believe that his scissors could be so accurate. Picked up a button and tried it on. It was really neither too big nor too small. Zhang Chen couldn't help but admire it. The corner of Zhao Zhilong's mouth twitched, as if he heard his compliment. He was also very fast at ordering buttons. He did not pick up one button and tack it on one by one like others. Instead, he grabbed a handful of buttons in the palm of his left hand. After ordering one, he tied a knot without reaching for the scissors to cut the thread. But immediately started to order one button, and after all 6 buttons in a row were ordered, he picked up the scissors, clicked the scissors a few times, and cut off all the threads, and the row of buttons was ready. Zhao Zhigang was ironing while Zhang Chen was wrapping. After 11:30, he finally finished wrapping the last item. Kaidi asked Zhang Chen if he had enough. Zhang Chen counted. This morning, the 3 people made 26 shirts, plus the 40-odd shirts they took in the morning. It was enough. Zhang Chen said it was okay, and Kaidi laughed loudly and shouted, "This is more stressful than when I rush for goods in the factory." Both brothers Zhao Zhigang laughed and stopped what they were doing. They also felt the same and needed to take a rest. In order to prevent others from disturbing and distracting them, they had been working with the door closed all morning. When they opened the door, the sun outside the door suddenly poured in, which seemed to startle them all. Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang went out and tied their clothes to the bag rack of their bicycles. Kaidi stood at the door and shouted, "Your bicycle is out of gas." Zhang Chen looked down and found that both the front and rear tires were flat. Looking carefully, it was not the tires that were flat, but the valve cores of both tires that had been pulled out. Damn it, I did it again. If it wasn't Ding Begu, Zhang Chen would become angry all of a sudden. Zhang Chen shouted loudly to everyone around him, you. What a bastard, you are so promiscuous, get out of here if you dare. There was silence all around. There were a few people nearby, looking at them and laughing, but no one came out to admit this. Zhao Zhigang and the others did not have bicycles. Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang said, I will ride Xiao Zhao's bike. Zhang Chen ran back to the yard in one breath. The landlord had already come back. When he saw Zhang Chen running out of breath, he asked, what are you doing, are you on fire? Zhang Chen didn't have time to say anything more. He just said it was urgent and ran upstairs and into the room. He searched for the bicycle key but couldn't find it. Then he thought that the key must be in Xiao Zhao's bag and he took it away. Zhang Chen had no choice but to go out. He thought, if it didn't work, he would have to pry off the bicycle lock. He ran downstairs and asked the landlord to borrow a vise and a screwdriver. The landlord asked him what he was doing. He said that I was in an emergency. My bicycle tire was flat. Xiao Zhao's keys were taken away again and I wanted to pick the lock. What are you doing picking the lock? You can't see such a big bicycle parked here. The landlord cursed. Only then did Zhang Chen see the landlord's bicycle parked on the wall in front of the hall behind him. In fact, when he came in, he had been staring at it, but he never thought that it was also a bicycle. Zhang Chen couldn't help laughing. Go quickly, the landlord said. The bicycle was unlocked, so Zhang Chen took it and left. After this back and forth, time was still wasted. The BB machine in his waist kept ringing. Zhang Chen knew without looking that it must be Xiao Zhao who was dunking him. Zhang Chen carried his clothes and ran to the stall sweating profusely. Xiao Zhao and a Yang were waiting there, almost dying of anxiety. It was already 12:30, and there were still 10 minutes left before we left the car. The goods Zhang Chen brought had not yet been separated or packed by the two families. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao both thought it was too late. Zhang Chen sat there dejectedly. A Yang and Xiao Zhao said, please give me the license plate quickly, you guys hurry up and pack up, I will go to the Changqing parking lot. What are you going to do? Zhang Chen asked. I'll ask the driver to wait. Will the driver listen to you? I stopped in front of his car and refused to let him go. Xiao Zhao told a Yang the license plate, and a Yang ran out. When Zhang Chen carried a bag and ran to the parking lot of Changqing Market and found the car, he saw a Yang in the car, smoking cigarettes and chatting happily with the driver. The people in the car were a little anxious, and someone shouted that they could leave. Yang glared at the back and cursed, selling your son to Sashi? Wait a minute. The caller has stopped ringing. When you are away from home, it is better to do less than to do more. Zhang Chen carried the bag into the car and handed the sales order to the driver. The driver took out an envelope and handed it to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen counted the numbers. Yes, the two of them got out of the car. The driver said goodbye at Yang. He waved and closed the car door. Zhang Chen returned to the stall. Xiao Zhao had ironed all the remaining clothes, and had also changed out of the summer clothes on the model outside the door. Zhang Chen climbed on the stool, printed out the patterns on the walls on both sides, and sat down. Only then did he have time to tell Xiao Zhao what happened in the morning while eating fast food. When Xiao Zhao heard this, she also became sad. She said, I thought the people in Sanbeo were very nice, but I didn't expect there to be such bad people who would damage your bicycle. This is still a small matter. What I'm worried about is that Zhao Zhigang and the others may not be able to stay there, Zhang Chen said. Then what should we do? If they can't stay any longer, who can we find to make our clothes? Xiao Zhao became even more anxious after hearing this. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said, I have thought about this matter and there are only two ways. What can I do? Tell me quickly. One is to ask Xiao Wu to bring people over, and have a few good fights there. If those people are frightened, they will not dare to be nagging. Are you crazy? Xiao Zhao shouted, do you think Hangcheng is a sea city and problems can be solved by fighting? Other problems were not solved and even caused Xiao Wu to go to the police station. Zhang Chen laughed loudly, do you think I'm really that stupid? I just thought about it when I was angry. However, if someone comes forward and says that he pulled out the valve core, I will really fight with him. Did you hear that, Zhang Xiangbei? Your dad is such a gangster, Xiao Zhao said to his big belly. Don't snitch. I will teach him the same thing in the future. Man, be brave and don't care about others. But if someone climbs on your head to shit, then you must beat the shit out of him, Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao stretched out his hand and tapped his head, I'm eating, please try again. Zhang Chen chuckled. Tell me, what else can I do? Xiao Zhao asked. The other way is, let's go look around there first and see if there is anything that won't affect other people's houses. If there is, talk to them first. If Zhao Zhigang and the others can't stay on the street anymore, they can move there. Go there, anyway, they can't leave. This is pretty much it, Xiao Zhao nodded with satisfaction. In the afternoon market, there were still some sporadic wholesale customers. Most of these were local or nearby retail stores in Hangzhou, and they all came here on bicycles or by bus. There was a customer from Woolen Road who liked their liquor t-shirts and took them away. He also took away 2 pairs of jeans and 2 jackets. Xiao Zhao introduced cotton and linen shirts to him, but he didn't like them. Xiao Zhao was still wondering why others liked them, but he didn't like them because they were all selling clothes. After he left, Ion came over and told them that the shops on Woolen Road all liked to find weird fabrics. After they took them, they would order a trademark to use them as a big-name butcher. Zhang Chen understood and thought to himself, this guy has a good eye and can spot this fabric at a glance. After the customer left, 2 young girls who opened a shop in Xiaoshan came and took away all the remaining cotton and linen shirts. Zhang Chen looked at the 2 walls that were bare again, and sighed, looking like nothing again. But he was happy in his heart. After a tense and useless morning, fortunately in the afternoon, everything went smoothly. Thank you Lao Chentang for your monthly ticket. Thank you for all the recommendation votes and reading. I wish everyone good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 558. Zhang Chen took Xiao Zhao home on the bicycle of the landlord's eldest brother. Water was splashed in the yard below. The landlord's family of 3 moved tables and stools into the yard and were eating. When he saw them, he made sure to invite them to eat together. The landlady came over, grabbed Xiao Zhao, and told her that there was porridge that had been frozen in the well water. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao saw a large wooden basin under the eaves, a wooden basin filled with well water, and a steel pot sitting in the middle of the basin. In the pot was thick cold porridge. It looked very tempting on a hot day. Zhang Chen pushed the bicycle into the front of the hall and parked it at the foot of the wall where it originally parked. A square table was originally occupied by the landlord's family of 3. One person occupied one side. Zhang Chen parked the car and came out. Xiao Feng had moved to sit with his mother and gave up his seat to Zhang Chen. Xiao Zhao occupied the originally empty seat. Side. The landlady took the bowls and chopsticks and told them that it was a homely meal with no vegetables, so they could eat whatever they wanted. Xiao Zhao smiled and said that there were so many dishes, it felt like the Chinese New Year, and he said there were no dishes. The landlady smiled and served Xiao Zhao a bowl of porridge. Xiao Zhao lowered his head and twitched his nose, grinning. It tasted so good. Sister-in-law, if you want to drive me away now, I won't leave. This porridge is too tempting. Everyone at the table laughed. The landlord picked up a plastic jug and poured Zhang Chen a full bowl of wine. It was not beer, but what they liked to drink. There was a jar of zero-copy rice wine in the agency store, also called old wine. The two of them picked up the bowls and clinked them. One big gulp consumed a third of the bowl. The atmosphere at the dinner table soon became lively. Everyone chatted about everything, and naturally they talked about the clothes they made in the tailor shop. The landlord told them that it was a bit noisy, but the main reason is that place. What's wrong is that there are still 3 brothers in that row of houses. For more than 10 years, they have either beaten or scolded them, just like enemies. The brigade cotters couldn't do anything when they saw this kind of people, the landlady said from the side. Whose house does the tailor shop belong to? Zhang Chen asked. The second child's right hand is the boss, and the left hand is the third child, the landlord brother said. Zhang Chen understood. It turned out that Kaidi said that the people on the left and right were the landlord's own brothers. Zhang Chen remembered and asked the landlord if there was any secluded house nearby that would not disturb others at night. What do you want it for? Asked the landlord. Even if we are making clothes, you know that when we make clothes, sometimes we have to work overtime at night to rush the goods. It seems that we can't work at night in the tailor shop. Where do you want to move those gangsters? The landlord asked. The Zhongshan guy he was talking about was Zhao's Hegang. Although Kaidi was from Sichuan, Zhao's Hegang was from Zhongshan. On Sanbeo Street, they still called them a pair of Zhongshan guys. Anyway, to them, Sichuan and Zhongshan there is no difference, they are all foreigners. Zhang Chen is right. On the street, one is inconvenient, and the other is too small. Zhang Chen has already thought about it. If they can find a larger house, although they are not yet able to set up a clothing factory, they can start by setting up a clothing processing workshop. The landlord thought for a while and said, there is one place, but I'm afraid it's too big. The landlady interjected, is there any available house nearby? The warehouse at the brigade headquarters, the landlord said. Zhang Chen knew that the brigade he was talking about was the current village. Yes, if you want to make clothes, it's a good place there. It's noisy and out of touch with people, the landlady also agreed. Is it far from here? Zhang Chen asked. A little way, the landlord said excitedly, stood up, patted Zhang Chen on the shoulder, and said to him, let's go, I will take you to see it now, it will only take a few minutes to walk, we will have a drink when we come back. Xiao Zhao also wanted to follow, but the landlord shouted, you have a big belly and can't walk fast. Why should you follow? Just go to your man's house. Xiao Zhao made a face at him, and the landlord asked, why, can't Xiao Zhang still make the decision in your family's affairs? Zhang Chen laughed on the side. The landlady also said, Xiao Zhao, we should continue to eat. The roads there are very bad and difficult to walk. Xiao Zhao could only give up. The landlord brother led Zhang Chen, and the two of them walked out as they talked, heading in the opposite direction to Hanghai Road and into the village. After passing 4 or 5 rows of houses, they saw another large vegetable field in front of them, which was all green. Celery. The landlord pointed to a lonely house in the middle of the vegetable field not far away and said, look, it's right there. This used to be the warehouse of our brigade headquarters. After the fields were divided into households, this place became empty. There was a cement road in disrepair that passed through the middle of the vegetable field. The two people approached. Zhang Chen saw that in front of the house was a cement drying yard with mud walls and red tiles on the roof. However, it had been aged for a long time. The red color of the tiles has long since faded. The two people walked through the drying yard. Zhang Chen saw the house, which was about 300 to 400 square meters. It was evenly divided into 4 rooms. The doors were all locked. The locks on the doors were rusty. On the side of the house, there was a small room with no door. The landlord told Zhang Chen that this place was used to raise pigs, and all the rotten vegetable leaves in the fields were picked up here. Jiang Chen stood there and looked around. There were vegetable fields in front, back, left, and right of this place. The nearest row of houses was dozens of meters away, so there was really no noise. Is the water and electricity available here? Jiang Chen asked. Yes. In the early years, the canteen of the brigade headquarters was set up here. How could the water and electricity not be connected? Did you see it? There is also a motorized well over there. Before the tap water came in, the well water was used. How much does the rent here cost per year? It won't be expensive. This kind of shabby house can be used as a factory, but it is not suitable for people to live in. It has been here for many years and it is not worth a copper coin. If you want it, I will help you go to the brigade headquarters tomorrow to ask. Jiang Chen quickly said yes, thank you, brother. The two of them returned to the yard of the landlord's house and sat down to continue drinking. Xiao Zhao asked Jiang Chen if he had seen that place and how it was. Jiang Chen said, I feel that the place is still very suitable. The house is a bit big for the current use, but if the business is good and there are more people, it won't be too big. Let me see if there are 30 or 40 sewing machines there. Question. It's no problem to put 100 of them, the landlord said. If the house is not enough when the time comes, I will put up the colored steel tiles on the open space in front of me. That open space also belongs to our brigade, and this house will be rented to if I leave you. The land will definitely be yours to use, and no one will care about what you build there. The landlord and Jiang Chen drank until dark. Xiao Feng went back to the room to do his homework. The landlord's wife and Xiao Zhao had already eaten and sat beside them to chat with them. They didn't finish until someone came over and asked the landlord brother to beat old K. Xiao Zhao wanted to help the landlord's sister-in-law clean up, but the sister-in-law told them to leave, saying that she could be alone. Jiang Chen and Xiao Zhao did not go upstairs, but went directly to Zhao Zhigang's tailor shop. When they walked to the tailor shop, they saw that the door was open and Jiang Chen's bicycle was parked at the door. Probably because they were worried that someone would come to pull out the valve core again, they put the car in the light of the door, where Kaidi could see it. Jiang Chen took a closer look and saw that the bicycle tires were already inflated. It seemed that Zhao Zhigang had bought him a new valve core. Zhao Zhigang and the three of them were sitting in front of the sewing machine. On the cutting table, there were piles of ready-made clothes as high as a mountain. Jiang Chen and Xiao Zhao wanted to order buttons, but Kaidi stopped them. Kaidi said, after 10 o'clock, we will have enough time, just sit down, rest, and chat. Only then did Jiang Chen and Xiao Zhao understand that the three of them wanted to finish all the work on the sewing machine and the hemming machine before 10 o'clock. After 10 o'clock, they would do some manual work that was quiet. In this way, the people around them would always be busy. There is nothing to say, and this is also a helpless move. Zhao Zhigang will also use the time after 10 o'clock to cut out all the pieces needed for tomorrow and iron all the areas that need to be ironed for the adhesive lining. In this way, he can work on the sewing machine throughout the day. Jiang Chen told them about the house he was looking at earlier and gave them a rough description of the place. Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi looked at each other and laughed. Jiang Chen asked curiously, why are you laughing? Kaidi asked, are you talking about the old warehouse in the village? Jiang Chen said yes, you know. Kaidi pointed at Zhao Zhigang and said, you ask him. Jiang Chen looked at Zhao Zhigang. Zhao Zhigang's face turned red but he said nothing. Jiang Chen continued to look at Kaidi, and then Kaidi said to them. The first time he tricked me into coming to Sanbao, he said he was going to set up a clothing processing factory there. It turned out that his master promised to lend him money. When we came out of the factory, his master said again, we are so busy this year, what are you doing? I just left. It was originally agreed that I would let you go solo next year, but when I got angry, I stopped borrowing the money. Actually, I think he just found this excuse and had no intention of lending us money. We all had to go out, so we had no choice but to open this tailor shop here." Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao laughed. It turned out that this was what happened. Zhang Chen asked, "Then what did you want to do when you set up a factory?" "I just process clothes for the Sijiking stall," Kaidi said. "Do you know any stalls?" "No," Zhao Zhigang said, "I just go to every stall to attract business." Zhang Chen thought to himself that he couldn't tell that this guy was more courageous than him. He didn't have a stall or money, so he dared to say that he wanted to set up a clothing factory. He was hesitant. When Zhang Chen saw Xiao Zhao looking at him and smiling, he knew that she must be laughing at him for being timid again. Zhang Chen himself was confused for a moment. He couldn't figure out whether he was timid or just being rational. Zhao Zhigang and Zhang Chen said, "That place is really good for a garment factory. I have visited it many times and talked with them in the village." "Then do you know how much rent is available in their village?" Zhang Chen asked. 8,000 yuan a year. Water and electricity bills are paid by yourself. We negotiated the price at that time, Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao looked at each other. The rent was 8,000 yuan, and there were other expenses. If they didn't add more people and machines, they should be able to run the place for 20,000 yuan. This amount of money is still within their capabilities. Within the range. Zhang Chen had thought about it. They could start with just 3 people, but with this base, they could expand step by step. He believed that they could soon expand to 30 or 300 people. In the beginning, it might just be a clothing processing factory. Who says they can't develop into a formal clothing factory? Zhang Chen had already made up his mind that he was going to take this place down. Only in this way would he not be tied hand and foot. At around 9 o'clock, someone was already looking outside the door. Zhang Chen simply stood up, walked outside the door, and stood there smoking. Before 10 o'clock, if someone came to Luo Libasui, Zhang Chen was ready to yell at him, "Anyway. If we don't plan to stay here anymore, we'll have a falling out." Zhang Chen thought of a Yang scene in the car in Nanjing at noon. He knew that in this world, many times it was really bully and weak, especially when he saw a fair and tender guy like Zhao Zhigang. Fortunately, Zhang Chen stood there until 10 o'clock. The sound of the machines behind him stopped, and no one came over to say anything. Safe and sound. Zhang Chen threw the cigarette butt on the ground and returned to the house. Kaidi told them that you can go back and just come and pick up the goods tomorrow morning. Zhang Chen said yes. He pushed the bicycle or walked back with Xiao Zhao. Halfway there, Zhang Chen suddenly asked, "Do you want to see that place now?" "Okay," Xiao Zhao shouted. Zhang Chen walked to the small shop nearby and bought a flashlight. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 559. From yesterday afternoon to 10 o'clock in the evening, Zhao Zhigang and the others made exactly 60 pieces of clothing. Fortunately, the styles, colors and sizes were all matched. I went to bed early last night, and today Xiao Zhao must go with Zhang Chen. Xiao Zhao said that I couldn't sleep at home, so I might as well lie down on a chair in the stall, so Zhang Chen had to let her go. 60 pieces of clothing were bundled into 2 large and small bundles. The larger bundle was tied to the basket in front of the bicycle, which deformed the wire basket. A small bundle, Xiao Zhao hugged it and sat on the back seat of the bicycle. There was no order call from any customer today. On the way there, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were worried about whether the clothes would be sold today, but by noon, they were all sold out. The two of them felt relaxed and didn't seem to be very busy. Why were these clothes sold out? The people who picked up these clothes were all new wholesale customers. The market still looked so deserted. Where did so many wholesale customers come from? Zhang Chen couldn't figure this out no matter how hard he thought about it. He just felt that there were so many customers in such a deserted market. No wonder the stalls in the old market had such huge sales every day. At about 10 o'clock, a customer came, just like Zhang Chen and the others had dressed up before. He had a fanny pack in his waist and his hands behind his back. He stood outside the stall and watched the two customers in the stall picking up goods. He waited until the two customers left before he walked in. "Is your product made in Hangzhou?" the man asked. Zhang Chen said, "Yes, we produce it ourselves. I'm from Zhengzhou, Asia. If I make 300 pieces of this stuff every day, can you afford it?" He pointed to the cotton and linen shirts on the wall and asked. 300 pieces? Every day? Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were taken aback. After Zhang Chen came to his senses, he shook his head and told the other party honestly that he couldn't pay. Zhang Chen thought to himself, not to mention that it couldn't be made, but even if it could be made, the fabric would be gone. The remaining fabrics, 300 pieces a day, would be shipped in 2 or 3 days. "When can I offer it?" the other party continued to ask without giving up. Zhang Chen said there was no more, the fabric was running out. The other party sighed, shook his head and said, "Unfortunately, I haven't seen this batch of things in other markets." "Of course, we designed this ourselves," Xiao Zhao shouted. "Oh, you designed it yourself?" The other party became interested and found a stool to sit down. He asked Zhang Chen, "Did you design it?" Zhang Chen is right. "Yes, does the factory also belong to you?" Zhang Chen said yes. "How many workers are there in your factory?" Zhang Chen hesitated, and Xiao Zhao shouted, "There are 12. So few. We can only make 200 to 300 shirts that day, and the next step is to make lined clothes, even less." Xiao Zhao blushed and thought, "I am already bragging, but you are still too few. How many people do you want?" Zhang Chen told him that when the next batch of new models comes out, there will be more people. The other party nodded, took out his business card, and said to Zhang Chen, "I will come to Hangzhou 2 or 3 times a month. If you come out with a new model, you can call me and I will come and take a look. If it is good, I can order directly." Zhang Chen agreed, but Zhang Chen didn't have a business card, so the other party asked for a blank sales list from their stall, which had their phone number printed on it. After the man went out, Xiao Zhao lowered his voice and shouted excitedly, Dear, is this the package customer?" Zhang Chen said, "Probably so. Aren't you crazy? You need 300 pieces a day, which is more than 10,000 yuan. He wants to buy so many goods." Xiao Zhao continued to shout, and then sighed, "Unfortunately, we can't make it." Zhang Chen looked at Xiao Zhao and couldn't help but laugh. "Do you really believe it? Who would buy goods without bragging? He said 300 and you believed it?" As he said this, he thought of the first time he went to Dongxin Road Fabric Market to buy cotton and linen fabrics. He was bragging about it at that time, but later, he actually finished all the fabrics. He recalled what Zhao Zhigang said when he went to buy a sewing machine, "A few dozen of them will take up a corner in our factory." Zhang Chen couldn't help but smile, but if he really wanted to rent the warehouse, he might be close to realizing the goal of Zhao Zhigang. Bragging is not far away. Zhang Chen threw the business card into the drawer, and Xiao Zhao said angrily, my happiness was in vain." The two of them were eating when Zhang Chen's BB phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. He picked up the phone and called back. It was the landlord. The landlord said to Zhang Chen, "Xiao Zhang, I'm at the brigade headquarters. Is your house still available? Do you want?" Zhang Chen sighed in his heart. He forgot to tell the landlord that he already knew the annual rent there, so there was no need to ask. As a result, he made another trip. "I've negotiated the price for you. It's 500 yuan a month or 6,000 a year. You can pay it once a year or every 6 months, the landlord continued. 6,000? Haha, it's another 2,000 cheaper, and you can pay it half a year, so I don't have any pressure anymore. Fortunately, the landlord went to ask about it, and Zhang Chen quickly said, "Okay, thank you, brother, we want this house." This debt account asked, "When will you come to sign the agreement?" "I'll tell them." "When will it be convenient for them?" Zhang Chen asked. "Our village director and accountant are here now. If you come now, I will ask them to wait." "Okay, I'll go there right now." "Do you know our brigade headquarters?" "Is it the village committee on the street?" "Yes, this is it." "Then I understand, brother." After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen told Xiao Zhao what had happened, and Xiao Zhao shouted, "Really? Then go quickly, just in time, I haven't deposited yesterday's business funds." Xiao Zhao picked up a wad of money from his bag, and Zhang Chen counted out 30. After thinking about it, he said, "No, I think we should pay all the rent for the year." "Why?" Xiao Zhao asked curiously. "Since we have rented, we will make long-term plans. The place will definitely need to be painted and repaired. We will not move even if it is a year. The landlord helped us negotiate the rent. If this happens after half a year, there will be another one in their village. We regretted it and asked for a rent increase. Didn't we suffer a loss? We paid for it for a year, and at least it won't increase in this year." Xiao Zhao thought it made sense. She opened the drawer and took out today's business money. She counted out a total of 6,000 and handed it to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen took the money and went directly to Sanbeo Street. He rode to a place about 10 meters away from the village committee when he heard a familiar voice calling him. He turned around and saw that it was the landlord's brother standing on the roadside. Zhang Chen quickly pressed the car brake and got out of the car. The landlord brother came over and walked with him to the village committee. The landlord brother warned, "When you get there, if they ask, just say you are my relative." Zhang Chen said yes. The two people walked into the village committee office. The accountant had already drafted the rental contract and made 2 copies on carbon paper. He took one and handed it to Zhang Chen and asked him to read it. After Zhang Chen finished reading it, he asked Zhang Chen, "Is there any problem?" Zhang Chen said, "There is no problem." The landlord came over to take a look. He said there was more, and I would like to add that the land in front of the door also belongs to us. The accountant rolled his eyes at him. "The house has been rented to you, so of course you can use the land." "Oh, maybe, what if other people come over and want to dry something while we are using it?" I said I want it, and he said he wants it. "It's not a fight," the landlord said. Zhang Chen thought to himself, "Yes, this problem really exists. Where are you, this poisonous leader, who dares to rob you?" the village director scolded. The landlord ignored them and insisted that it should be written down. "This must be written down. It would be better to get the solution first." The village director said to the accountant impatiently, "Okay, just add 1 sentence." The accountant took the agreement from Zhang Chen, put the carbon paper between the 2 papers, and added at the end, "During the lease period, the right to use the open space in front of the door also belongs to Party B." After finishing writing, he glared at the landlord and asked, "Is that okay?" The landlord nodded and said with a smile, "Write 2 words, why are your eyes so wide-eyed, do you want to eat people?" The accountant shook his head, ignored him, turned around and asked Zhang Chen, "Should the rent be paid for half a year or a year?" Zhang Chen said that after 1 year, he would write down the amount. When it was time to fill in the start and end dates, the accountant asked the village director whether the calculation should start from today or which day. "Why does it start from today? That place is so dirty. It will take half a month to clean it." "It will start from the 10th of next month," the landlord called. "It takes half a month to decorate a new house," the village director scolded. Do you still need to put tiles on the wall? If you want to put them on, fine, our village welcomes you. In response to the scolding, the director still stretched out two fingers and scratched it forward, meaning to tell the accountant not to argue with this poisonous head and just fill in the 10th of next month. After signing and paying the money, Zhang Chen put the agreement belonging to them into his bag and asked them, when can I go there to clean it? The place belongs to you, you can go now, the village director said. The landlord stretched out his hand. Key. Key, key. The accountant muttered the word key and opened the drawers of his desk one by one, but no key was found. The accountant scratched his head with his hand and tried hard to think about where he had put the keys. The village director shouted from the side, if you want any keys, bring a hammer and smash the locks. The money for buying new keys will be reimbursed in the village, the landlord asked the village director. The village director glared at him and raised his hand to hit him. The landlord smiled, pulled Zhang Chen and escaped. He fled to the door and shouted, let's have old wine in 2 days. The accountant scolded me from behind, I can't bear the wine, you're a poisonous head. Zhang Chen broke up with his landlord, and rode his bicycle to the warehouse alone. Standing in the open space in front of him, he felt a sense of pride and pride. From now on, this is my world, and my clothing business should start from there. This was where it really started, and he really wanted to shout. There was a satisfaction in my heart that I had never felt before. Zhang Chen himself also felt strange. He was not a person who had never seen the world. How could he be so happy when he rented such a shabby house today and didn't spend much money? What will happen in the future? Everything is still unknown. Is it so exaggerated? Is it worth being so excited? But there is no way, the excitement cannot be concealed, nor can it be controlled. Zhang Chen sat down on the concrete floor. His buttocks felt very hot through 2 layers of pants, and the scorching sun was shining above his head. In just a moment, sweat poured out all over his body. Zhang Chen not only didn't get up, but instead lay down. He didn't care about the dirt on the ground, let alone the hot concrete floor. He felt that he wanted to let the heat here leave a mark on his whole body. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 560. Zhang Chen stood up and rode his bicycle to Zhao Zhigang's tailor shop and told them the news that he had rented a warehouse. The 3 of them were very happy to hear it. Zhao Zhigang said, let's go and have a look together. Zhang Chen said, yes, if you have a hammer, bring a hammer. Zhao Zhigang didn't know what Zhang Chen wanted a hammer for, but he still went to find one and held it in his hand. Zhao Zhilong also wanted to follow them, so Zhang Chen asked Zhao Zhilong to sit on the front gear of the bicycle, and Zhao Zhigang sat in the back. The 3 of them rode in one car and rode over there. Zhang Chen took the hammer from Zhao Zhigang's hand, pointed it at the rusty padlock on the door, banged the hammer, and knocked the lock off. He pushed the door open and went in. Zhang Chen couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. Angry, he saw that the area inside was larger than what he felt outside, a large room of 80 or 90 square meters, but it was really too shabby. There is thick dust on the ground is cracked, and there are several pits. The walls on the side were originally scraped with lime. The white walls have long since turned gray, and there are large areas of lime. It peeled off and pieces fell to the floor, revealing the mud walls inside. There is no ceiling on the roof, and the rafters are directly exposed. There are spider webs hanging everywhere, and the tiles in several places have been broken. The sunlight directly forms beams of light from the broken holes, and is projected onto the ground, forming various shapes. Strange light spots. Zhang Chen then knocked the locks on the other 3 rooms. They were all similar inside. In the top room, there was an old windmill made of wood, which was originally used in the warehouse to sort out grains and weeds. There is a large funnel on the top of the wind rice cart. Pour the rice into the funnel and keep shaking the handle on the round belly of the wind rice cart. Because the weight of rice, deflated grains, and weeds is different, the wooden fan blades inside the wind rice cart. They will be separated, and the rice will flow out from the flat outlet under the windmill and fall into the baskets placed there. The deflated grains and weeds will be sifted out through the open sides. Such wind rice carts are not only found in warehouses, but also in rice milling factories in Yongcheng town. Pour the milled rice into it from the hopper, shake the handle, and the white rice will flow out from the outlet and be mixed in the rice. The chaff will be blown out from the side screen. Zhangchen goes to the processing factory every Sunday afternoon to buy newly made rice cakes or rice noodles. What he likes to see the most is someone sifting the rice. If no one is sifting, he will grab the handle himself and rock the Wind Valley cart. Play until someone comes and chases him away. On a whim, Zhangchen walked over, grabbed the handle, and shook it. The windmill buzzed twice, and then made a loud noise. The fan blades inside, which had been idle for many years, completely fell apart and fell into the belly of the car. The three people were startled and then laughed wildly. Zhangchen smiled, but felt desolate in his heart. The excitement in front of him had passed. He looked at the shabby appearance around him, and felt inexplicable sadness in his heart. In this shabby place, where was the clothing industry? It doesn't look like the place where my dream took off, and it's more like being a base for the beggar clan. Zhao Zhigang was not as frustrated as Zhangchen. He had been here before and knew the scene inside. Besides, none of the clothing processing factories near Hangzhou was in tatters. The floors were swept and the wires were connected. Put on the sewing machine and get to work. In this garment factory, the garments made one after another look fashionable and gorgeous, but the garment factory itself is very dirty, with a lot of dust, and threads and cloth scraps flying randomly, especially in winter when making cotton coats or down jackets. So, no matter how clean you are, within a week it will still be full of dust. But Zhangchen didn't think so, especially him. After all, he was born in decoration. How could he stand his own land, which looked so dilapidated? In such an environment, he felt that everyone would be suffocated. But to make this place presentable, Zhangchen immediately estimated that it would be different from what he had originally expected, and he just had to invest a small amount of money. The floor, walls, and top of the head must be treated, and ceiling fans and rows of fluorescent lamps must be installed on the top. For safety reasons, it is best to have all power cords overhead instead of being randomly connected on the ground, where people can easily kick them. If you get an electric shock, it's a big deal. The three people walked outside. Zhao Zhigang and Zhangchen said that this first room was used as a workshop. I calculated that there were about 30 sewing machines that could be placed, and the second room was empty. What are you doing with your free time? Zhangchen asked. In the future, when there are more people, there will be another workshop. 2 sewing workshops will have to be put together. Zhao Zhigang said that it seemed that he was more confident than Zhangchen. He really wanted to make dozens of them occupy a corner in our factory. Zhangchen couldn't help but smile again. Zhao Zhigang pointed to the third room and said, "This room is used as a back room. The keyholes, buttons, packaging and hot ironing are all placed here." Zhangchen nodded, and Zhao Zhigang pointed to the room they had just walked out of, and told Zhangchen that this place serves as a warehouse and cutting bed. The fabrics are piled here when they come. The bigger the cutting bed, the better, and the bigger it is, the more economical it is. Material. What Zhao Zhigang said was easy for Zhangchen to understand. Each layer of fabric is spread out on the cutting bed. No matter how you spread it, one end will always be wasted. The fewer layers of a roll of fabric, the more the end will be. Less, of course, will save money. Moreover, this is different from being in a tailor shop. Instead of arranging 2 or 3 pieces in a row, you can arrange 7, 8, or more than 10 pieces of clothes of various sizes together. The larger the area, the more large and small pieces can be arranged. Convenient, the more compact it is, the more fabric it saves. For the cutting bed of the garment factory, laying the cloth and typesetting the drawing board are the most time-consuming. After laying the cloth, it is cut with electricity, and one board can be dozens or hundreds of pieces. It can be said that the cutting bed cuts one board, and the workshop do it for half a day. Where does that person live? Zhao Hailong asked. Yes, all the houses have been used as workshops. Where do people live? Regarding personnel, Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi also told them that no matter how small the number of people is at the beginning, there must always be 7 or 8 people, otherwise the work will not be done and renting such a large place will be a waste. These 7 or 8 people, Kaidi Zhao Hailong and Zhao Hailong can call over people who they have worked with before. They are all quick hands. 7 or 8 people can be worth a dozen others. 7 or 8 people, that is, 5 or 6 more machines, are still within the range that Zhang Chen and the others can afford. Zhang Chen agreed. But where do these 7 or 8 people live? It's not allowed to sleep on the cutting bed or the packaging table in the back, Zhao Zhigang said. Zhao Hailong nodded. It seemed that this was also the norm for garment processing factories in Hangzhou at that time. Zhao Zhigang took 2 steps, looked at the small room with clothes hanging out next to him, and told Zhang Chen that Kaidi and I could stay here. He looked at the door frame without a door and continued, just hang a curtain on the door. Zhang Chen was startled and shouted, how can this work? You should live on the street or find a house in the village. No, it's too inconvenient. I'm exhausted after working overtime, and I still have to walk. I might as well sleep on the cutting bed, just here, Zhao Zhigang said. Here, Zhang Chen laughed, do you know what this place is for? Zhao Zhigang walked to the door, sniffed, and asked Zhang Chen, pig farmer. Zhang Chen is right. Sweep it clean and rinse it with water, Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen also regained his energy from the previous depression. He thought, thank you for being a decorator. Find 2 workers and work for 3 or 4 days. Can't you change the look of this place with the least amount of money? I'm not asking you to make this place look like the lobby of Wanghai Tower, with no leakage or air leakage, and treat the walls and floors. You don't know how to do it? Zhang Chen said, yes, I will renovate it and make sure it can be used as a new house for you and Kaidi. I'm going to ask tomorrow how to get the business license, and then I'll find someone to see how to renovate this place. I'll leave this place to me. You should still do your own thing, Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang said. What license? Zhao Zhigang asked. A license for a garment factory, Zhang Chenkai said. This is a production, so you don't need a business license? Your tailor shop doesn't have a license. No, none of the shops on this street have licenses. There are so many processing factories near Hangzhou, and no one has applied for licenses. Zhao Hailong was right when he said that my original factory had been without a license for more than 2 years and no one was in charge. This was a big surprise for Zhang Chen, but after thinking about it, he still felt that regardless of whether others had a license or not, he must apply for one. In this regard, it was better to be more disciplined. When the 3 of them were preparing to leave, Zhang Chen discovered another problem. Although 7 or 8 people were not many, they could sleep comfortably, especially now that the weather was still hot. It might be a little cooler to sleep on a cutting bed with a straw mat. But eating, defecation, and bathing are not enough. Eating is okay. Zhang Chen thought for a while. Even if he built a shed and could put in a gas stove, it would be fine. If he wanted to take a bath, he wouldn't do it every day in winter. He could go to the bathhouse on Sanbeo Street. At this time, of course, he would need to take a bath every day. Washing, this is easy to solve, just build a simple room with colored steel plates, separate men and women, pull in a water pipe, connect a few shower faucets, and that's it. The biggest headache was the toilet. Zhang Chen looked around and saw that there was a toilet on the edge of the drying area, but this toilet was an old toilet like those in rural areas more than 10 years ago. There are two mud walls on both sides, topped with straw, and a low wall at the back, with a vegetable patch outside. The upper third of the wall is empty, the front half is blocked, and the upper third is also empty. The other half, there used to be a straw curtain, but now there is nothing. There is a large vat buried in the ground. There is a wooden shelf above the vat, and people sit on a horizontal log on the shelf to go to the toilet. There is no distinction between men and women in such toilets. When you approach, you have to cough first. If there is someone inside, it will tell you that there is someone there. You can recognize the male and female, and then you can judge whether you should go in and sit in a row with him or her. Another great feature of such a toilet is that in winter, the wind blows from all directions and will freeze your bare butt off. In summer, as soon as you enter, there will be a buzzing sound inside, and a swarm of red-headed flies will fly up. You will lower your head and look down. The large vat was full of maggots, and some even climbed up and squirmed on the wooden steps. Zhang Chen felt that he couldn't bear to let the workers use such a toilet, especially since it was more than 10 meters away from that building. If they were working overtime at night, how could those girls dare to come to the toilet? It can't be said that every day do you need someone to accompany you when you go to the toilet for the first time. Especially the leaky wall at the back. If you block it, the inside will be suffocated and smelly. If you don't block it, it will be dark and light. Even if no one is peeking outside, you will still be able to see the night sky outside from here. I'll be scared to death. This kind of toilet is definitely not possible. But remodeling a toilet is not as simple as renovating a room. You first have to build a septic tank, which is a big project. After the on-site inspection, Zhang Chen felt that the reality was much harsher than his imagination. The most important thing was that the money needed suddenly seemed to be a lot more than what he actually had. You have to worry, you have to worry. Zhang Chen felt like a grass bandit, occupying the mountain and becoming the king. After occupying the mountain, he realized that the mountain was completely deserted. There was nothing. Thank you for reading every day, Dal Tin Soldier, ranking 3rd from top to bottom, and on the shore 131 for your continued rewards. Thanks for all the reading and votes. I wish you all good health.